Chapter 117. The Battle of Lu Chen's fan team on Wave's blog started at 10 p.m. Before that, they had continuously exploded the personal posts of Zhang Xiaoan, Jenny Chan and Zhuang Hao, as well as the official post bar of Super Singer. The results were quite brilliant. In fact, among the 4 post bars, only the official post bar of Super Singer was more difficult to explode. The other 3 were simply vulnerable. Under the attack of tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of IDs, they were all exploded into a mess. Then the main force marched into Wave's blog. Lu Chen's fan group, Lu Jiejun, was not established for a long time, but it has developed very rapidly. Relying on the abundant popularity resources of Whale TV, the number of members of Lu Jiejun fan group with relatively high loyalty has soared from the initial hundreds to more than 70,000. And has become the most important force supporting Lu Chen. It was Li Mubai and Li Feiyu who directed the counterattack. The strength of this pair of Li is very strong. Li Mubai controls more than a dozen supergroups in the QQ group, while Li Feiyu broadcasts live in the studio, encouraging more fans to participate. And Lu Chen himself has always been standing behind the scenes. Because his current identity is different from the past, if he personally takes people to blow up the blog, it will become a joke. The image of a star is extremely important. After this storm, Lu Chen has also become a little famous. He has become a rising star in Singing China program. If he is a contracted artist, Lu Chen is considered to have officially made his debut, so he must pay attention to his words and deeds. So, if he goes on the stage bare-chested to retaliate against his opponent, it is easy to give people a bad impression of extreme and narrow-minded character, which is not conducive to his future development on the star path. But fans are completely different. It is completely natural for fans to protect their idol, not to mention that Lu Chen is also in a position of reason and righteousness. If he doesn't retaliate fiercely, it will only make people think that he has no popularity resources. For example, Ling Xiaoxiao, who is famous in Super Singer, attacked Lu Chen most fiercely. It was his support group that attacked Lu Chen the most. However, no one said that Ling Xiaoxiao had done anything wrong, because he had never made any negative comments against Lu Chen or the stray cats. Even if the truth was revealed now, he would not be implicated. Someone on the Waves blog has already revealed that Ling Xiaoxiao had signed a contract with Juxing Corporation before participating in Super Singer. His rapid popularity in the talent show Shonan TV has a foundation. The boss of Juxing Corporation was Jin Hongwei, whom Lu Chen had rejected. Ling Xiaoxiao can play, and Lu Chen is not a fool. When he has the upper hand, he will not let others talk about him. Of course, this does not mean that Lu Chen will stand by and watch the fun. Through Li Mubai and Li Feiyu, he has formulated the basic rules of action for this counterattack, that is, only against Zhang Xiaoan, Jenny Chan, Zhuang Hao, the Super Singer program team and Xiao Xiao support group, and will not involve Shonan TV and Ling Xiaoxiao himself. This is called a directional slap in the face. In addition to targeting, Lu Chen also asked fans not to engage in obscene abuse attacks, on the one hand, to avoid being banned by the Waves blog, on the other hand, to maintain the overall quality of the fan group. Although there were so many fans, it was impossible for them to do whatever they were told. Reasonable and correct guidance was essential. Otherwise, it would be easy to hurt others and themselves. With the launch of the counterattack, Zhang Xiaoan's blog was the first to be taken down. As a result, the well-known host of Shonan TV deleted his original blog post attacking Lu Chen, closed the comment area and pretended to be a dead dog, and has never posted any new blog posts since. Lu Jiejun immediately pursued Jenny Chan and Zhuang Hao under the command of Li Mubai and Li Feiyu. The latter two responded in the same way as Zhang Xiaoan, deleting their posts and locking their comments. They all closed their mouths. In fact, unless they apologize, no matter what they say, they can't change the truth exposed in the video. Defending or denying at this time will only make their reputation worse and worse. When it was the turn of the Super Singer program team, the official V of the program team had already set up a ban on comments. So, Lu Jiejun launched a general attack on the final goal, that is, Xiao Xiao support group's Group V. This time, they finally met their opponent. In the face of Lu Jiejun's flood-like offensive, the fans in Xiao Xiao support group did not give up and launched a rather tenacious resistance. The two sides fought back and forth, and the battle was in full swing in the Waves blog, and even appeared on the blog's hot spot of the day. However, Xiao Xiao support group's resistance was somewhat of a dying struggle, because the video evidence posted by Stray Cats was so lethal that a behemoth like Shonan TV had to bow its head. At 11:40 p.m. on July 28, Shonan TV issued an apology on the Waves blog. In this blog post, Shonan TV officials expressed a deep apology for the violations in the audition stage of Super Singer, and extended a sincere apology to Lu Chen. Shonan TV has suspended Zhang Xiaoan's hosting work, and unilaterally terminated the contract with Jenny Chan and Zhuang Hao. Both of them will no longer serve as judges of Super Singer. Shonan TV also said that they appreciated Lu Chen's talent in singing and composition, and regretted that the two sides could not cooperate. At the same time, they looked forward to the opportunity to invite Lu Chen to participate in Shonan TV program in the future. At the end of the blog post, the official V Lu Chen FMX and Stray Cats at the same time. Then the official V of the Super Singer program team posted the same blog post. As the number one in the local satellite TV station, Shonan TV's crisis public relations capabilities are undoubtedly strong. As soon as this apology statement came out, the storm against them in the Waves blog suddenly subsided a lot. Lu Chen, who has been sitting in front of the computer watching the development of the situation, of course, also saw it. He thought about it and replied with a short blog post. He said that he accepted the apology of Shonan TV, was satisfied with the handling of the incident, and looked forward to cooperation between the two sides. Because Lu Chen knows very well who the real culprit behind this matter is. If he pours out all his anger on Xiangnan satellite TV, it will be in the hands of the man behind the scenes. To be continued. Shonan TV has a huge influence in the industry. Many star idols are proud to participate in Shonan TV programs, and countless third and fourth tier stars want to squeeze in. Although Lu Chen doesn't need to deliberately please Shonan TV, shaking hands and making peace is undoubtedly the wisest choice. At 11:50, 10 minutes after Shonan TV's apology statement was issued, Beijing Television spoke. At first, in this storm, Beijing Television and Singing China program team have been silent. Now that the dust has settled, Singing China program team official V immediately announced a very intriguing news. Beijing Satellite TV has signed a copyright licensing contract with Lu Chen, one of the top 16 contestants in the Beijing singing area of Singing China. His original work, Life on a String, will become the new theme song of Singing China. In addition, Beijing Television will also invite Lu Chen to participate in the station's National Day party. Also at the end, Beijing Television official V also Lu Chen FMX. Lu Chen immediately replied to express his gratitude and was very happy to establish a good cooperative relationship with Beijing Television. But anyone with a discerning eye can see that this is the rhythm of Beijing Television to promote Lu Chen. Shonan TV's Super Singer has brought out a new star, Ling Xiao, and it is normal for Beijing Television's Singing China, which competes with Shonan TV, to also bring out a newcomer. The ratings of the two variety shows are very close, and they are fighting in full swing. The duel between the two sides in a few days will undoubtedly be very exciting. At 11:54, Tan Hong, who has more than 20 million fans, posted a blog encouraging Lu Chen FMX to work hard and create another good result in the top 10 of Singing China, Beijing singing area. At 11:57, Chen Feier, who has more than 13 million fans, also updated his blog, saying that he likes Lu Chen FMX's work very much and hopes to hear his new work in the competition on the 31st. Two big names in the pop music world supported Lu Chen at the same time, which made Lu Chen's reputation in Waves blog soar. In just half an hour, the number of blog fans increased by more than 100,000, and it was still increasing. Lu Chen also expressed his thanks to the two judges at the first time. With the statement of Shonan TV, Beijing Television, and the two superstars, the storm that lasted for 2 days finally came to an end, and the fans of Xiao Xiao support group stopped. The counterattack of Lu Jiejun's fan group has been declared a complete victory. Just after 12 o'clock, the atmosphere in Lu Fei's live broadcast room on Whale TV was already extremely hot. Countless fans were celebrating the victory. It's so satisfying, killing those guys and leaving nothing behind. The army is invincible. Ha ha ha, I hope this kind of action can be done a few more times. It's really not satisfying enough. Well, the opponent is too weak and lacks challenge. I didn't expect Shonan TV to apologize. Our anchor Big is too awesome. Didn't you see Tan Hong and Chen Fei come out to support our Lu Feida? If he isn't awesome, who is? There is no suspense in the top 10 of the 16. General Lu will win. What song do you think the anchor will sing in the next competition? I like those flowers. When youth is beautiful. Love in the Wind sounds better. No matter which original it is, our Lu Feida can win and leave Ling Xiaoxiao 3 streets behind. Leave Ling Xiaoxiao 3 streets behind +1. +2. Lu Chen watched in his own live broadcast room as a visitor, feeling the joy of his fans from the heart. Of course, Lu Chen was also very happy, because he was undoubtedly one of the biggest winners in this storm. But Lu Chen was also very sober at the same time. Whether it was the support of Beijing television, or the support of Tan Hong and Chen Fei, they were all empty. Like a castle built on the beach, a wave may collapse. As an independent singer and songwriter, what Lu Chen can really rely on is his own strength. On this road covered with thorns and flowers, if he wants to go further, he needs to be serious and serious. Work harder. Chapter 118. Pa. An expensive Yixing purple clay teapot fell heavily to the ground, and immediately shattered into pieces, and the fragments splashed everywhere. The enchanting female secretary, who was sitting outside the manager's office, heard the noise and couldn't help but turn her head to look. Through the crack in the door, she saw her boss's angry face, and the twisted and ferocious look made her startled. The female secretary hurriedly turned her head and sat upright, pretending to be busy, so as not to be found lazy, and made a scapegoat. It seems that the boss has been in a very bad mood these days. She has been scolded several times, and she feels that the seat under her butt is almost unstable. This job is still very good, at least she can see stars every day. At this time, Jean Hongwei, who was in the room at the moment, didn't know the company's new female secretary's thoughts. He had nowhere to vent his anger. The blue veins on his forehead were bulging, and his face was red, which was obviously a sign of high blood pressure. After smashing the purple clay teapot, he finally calmed down. Having sat on the throne of Assembly of Stars Brokerage Company's general manager for such a long time, Jean Hongwei had long since forged a deep shrewdness. He didn't easily show his emotions on the outside, and it was rare for him to fly into a rage like this. But in the past 2 days, he had encountered an unprecedented setback. He felt that it was even worse than when Tan Hong sued him to terminate the contract. The cause of the incident turned out to be a small newcomer singer. Lu Chen. The name has been chewed many times in Jean Hongwei's mouth recently, and every time he mentions it, he gnashes his teeth. Lu Chen first refused his kindness and refused to sign a contract with Juxing Corporation. Then, after being eliminated by Super Singer, he ignored his solicitation again, extremely stubborn. Such newcomers, Jean Hongwei has seen less and less in recent years. Most of the newcomers, as long as they know the strength of Juxing Corporation, do not dare to play personality in front of him, and they all obediently kneel down and beg for help. Few young people can resist the temptation to enter the glamorous, famous, and profitable entertainment industry. Jean Hongwei's strength and connections make him almost invincible in poaching people. However, he had hit a wall twice in a row with Lu Chen. Although he ran into a wall, Jean Hongwei did not particularly care. In any case, he had taken his revenge. It was not easy to find a 3-legged toad, but in the capital, there were 2-legged handsome guys everywhere. Jean Hongwei quickly unearthed Ling Xiaoxiao, and after the latter signed a contract with Juxing Company, he lifted him up in the blink of an eye. Jean Hongwei sometimes thought that if Lu Chen knew that he had lost a shortcut to fame, would he be very regretful? Would he turn around and beg for his forgiveness and give him another chance? In the end, he found out that he was wrong, very wrong. After Lu Chen was eliminated by Super Singer, not only did he not disappear, but he stood out in Beijing television's Singing China competition and won the top spot in Beijing's top 16 with excellent original works. Not only that, but the 3 songs that Lu Chen wrote for the Bionics all made it to China's original music chart, and the song, In the Spring, topped the list for 2 weeks in a row. With such excellent talent, he can really throw Ling Xiaoxiao 3 streets away. Ling Xiaoxiao was brought up by Jin Hongwei. Jin Hongwei naturally knows his background. When Jin Hongwei began to regret it, his dirty trick against Lu Chen was exposed. The exposure of the inside story that appeared on Inspire blog made Jin Hongwei feel like he was naked in broad daylight, and the outflow of the audition video was more like a bolt from the blue, which left him stunned. TN, a thunderbolt from the blue, how did such a thing get leaked out? Jin Hongwei's intuition, honed through many years of experience, told him that he had fallen into a trap. Otherwise, how could there be such a coincidence? But Jin Hongwei had no clue as to who set up this trap. Because he has too many enemies. Then Shonan TV and Super Singer program team apologized to Lu Chen, admitted their mistakes, and punished the relevant people, etc. Zhang Xiaoan was transferred from his post and suspended from work, and Jenny Chan and Zhuang Hao were all out. These 3 were all related to Jin Hongwei, and it can be said that they were tricked by him. Of course, Jin Hongwei was somewhat wronged. Originally, there was no evidence. Who could have thought that the recorded video would be stolen and spread outside, leading to the emergence of this storm? Jin Hongwei himself was in great trouble as a result. Shonan TV's attitude towards him became cold, and several senior leaders refused to answer his phone calls. His partner, Orange Field Entertainment, was very dissatisfied, and even Juxing Corporation had discordant voices. Although the situation has not reached the worst point, with his connections, there is always a way to recover the damaged relationship. When the matter is over, everything will be the same as before. But he is bound to pay a high price, and his reputation in the circle will also have a great impact. Just now, it was Zhang Xiaoan who called, shouting for him to give an explanation. What explanation can he give to this dog who has fallen into the water? Of course, he pushed the matter aside, and was scolded by the latter. How can Jin Hongwei be in a good mood like this? He hated Lu Chen to the bone. This matter will not end so easily. If he can't get back at him, how will he be able to stay in the circle in the future? Just wait and see. After thinking about it, Jin Hongwei picked up the phone, found a number in his contact list, and called it. Ring ring ring. Sitting on the second floor of the KFC restaurant, Lu Chen took out the phone from his pocket and answered the call. The afternoon sun shone through the glass window on his right arm, and it felt a little hot. The person who called Lu Chen was Wang Jing from Nirvana Studios. The latter asked for his opinion on the arrangement style of a song. After all, this is Lu Chen's own album, and first of all, he has to respect his opinion. Lu Chen's debut album has been under intense production at Nirvana Studios. Recently, he has to go to Nirvana Studios almost every day to help complete the recording of the soundtrack and singing. An excellent album needs to be polished with care and time. After ending the call with Wang Jing, Lu Chen looked up and saw a familiar face. Chen Xian. This KFC restaurant was where Lu Chen used to work, and Chen Xian was his colleague. Lu Chen, I just heard from Xiao Zhang that you are back. Chen Xian, who was wearing the restaurant staff uniform, was very happy. I saw you on TV last Friday. The song you sang in the talent competition was really good, and several colleagues saw it. Chen Xian's face showed the joy of meeting again after a long time, but there was nothing else. She used to have a little affection for Lu Chen, but there was no ambiguous relationship between the two. With Lu Chen's resignation and departure, the faint feelings disappeared with time. When she saw Lu Chen on TV, Chen Xian knew that the two belonged to different worlds, and there was no possibility of intersection. So when she saw Lu Chen again, she felt like she was seeing a friend who had been separated for a long time. Why did you come back here? Lu Chen said with a smile, I came here specially to find you, ah? Chen Xian's heart jumped, and she couldn't help but sit down opposite Lu Chen. What are you looking for me for? At this time in the afternoon, there were no customers unless it was the weekend, so she could chat with Lu Chen for a while, but the time could not be too long, otherwise the manager would find out and deduct her salary. It's like this, Lu Chen said, I just opened a studio recently and asked my sister to come over to help. She wants to find an assistant for work. I don't know if you are willing to work for me? She had already mentioned to Lu Chen that she needed to hire an assistant and office clerk. Her requirement was that the other party must be a woman, young, but not beautiful. It was best if she had a good character and was willing to learn hard. At that time, Lu Chen immediately thought of Chen Xian. Lu Chen and Chen Xian had been colleagues for almost a year. He knew that although the girl from Sichuan was not highly educated, she had a good character and was willing to work hard. She usually didn't talk much with others. It was very in line with Lu Shi's requirements. The only thing that made Lu Chen feel a little embarrassed was Chen Xian's affection for him. When he resigned, the scene of Chen Xian chasing after him was still fresh in Lu Chen's memory, so he didn't want to get involved in trouble. This time, he happened to buy something and passed by this KFC. After thinking about it, he went in. Seeing Chen Xian again, the other party's expression made Lu Chen understand that the girl had really let go of her worries. Then there was no problem. As for Lu Chen's invitation, Chen Xian was very surprised. Ask me to be your assistant? Lu Chen said with a smile, yes, you are my sister's assistant. She is also the studio manager and my agent. Chen Xian understood and was a little embarrassed. I haven't gone to college. Can I do it? Lu Chen said seriously, if you don't understand, you can learn. In fact, my sister is also learning, and so am I. As long as you are willing to learn hard, I think there will be no problem. Chen Xian was still a little not confident. I am willing to learn, but I am afraid that I can't learn well. Lu Chen said, as long as you are willing to learn, the salary is 3,000 yuan, and the 5 insurances and 1 housing fund will be paid. The bonus and welfare will be calculated separately. The accommodation allowance is 500 yuan. The salary that Lu Chen gave her was also based on the level of KFC. Except for the bonus and welfare, it was basically the same. It was not that Lu Chen couldn't give her a higher salary, but it was not necessary. If Chen Xian was not willing, it didn't matter. Chen Xian bit her lip and said resolutely, then I will try. Lu Chen said with a smile, you don't have to agree so quickly. It is not too late to tell me after thinking about it. Chen Xian shook her head and said, no, I have already thought about it. I don't want to do this job anymore. Lu Chen was a little surprised, and then he felt relieved, then welcomed to join Lu Chen's studio. He reached out to Chen Xian. Chen Xian giggled. She squeezed his hand, but quickly let go. It was the first time that they shook hands. Chapter 119. Next, contestant number 007, Lu Chen, please come on stage. Accompanied by the enthusiastic shout of the host, Lu Chen stepped onto the big stage that he was already familiar with. Beijing Television Studio Hall has been rearranged, giving people a refreshing feeling. The 1,500 audience seats are full, and 4 heavyweight judges, Tan Hong, Chen Feier, Lin Jijie, and Zhen Zhen, are all present. On the last day of July, the top 10 competition of Singing China in Beijing's singing area was held here on time. This is also the last final in Beijing's singing area. The top 10 contestants selected tonight will set out from the capital at the beginning of next month and go to various singing areas for a tour of competition to decide the top 10 in the country. Therefore, this competition is extremely important and also attracts much attention. Good evening, for judges. Good evening. Hello, audience and friends. Standing in front of the microphone, Lu Chen first bowed to the judges, and then saluted the audience on both sides. I am contestant number 007, Lu Chen. The order of the top 16 contestants in Beijing's singing area is produced by computer ranking. In front of Lu Chen, 6 contestants have already appeared, and their singing is quite wonderful. I don't know if it's because of Lu Chen's influence, two of the contestants have also taken out their original works. In most reality talent shows, especially in singing competitions, the weight of original works is always higher than cover songs, which can get a lot of points. Encourage originality is the mainstream attitude. In addition, the broad audience also needs a sense of freshness. Even if it's a cover song, many singers like to rearrange the original work, and even deliberately increase the difficulty to improve the gold content of the singing. But there is a prerequisite for this, that is, the quality of the original work can't be too bad, otherwise it will only be self-defeating. Talent is higher than singing skills, and singing skills are higher than appearance. Those who can be ranked in the top 16 of Beijing singing area are not weak. Contestant number 002 Zhang Junhua's Ocean of Love and contestant number 005's Zhua Chuqing's Memorial Day are both very good works. Both of them have received high ratings from the judges and the audience inside and outside the venue. Currently, the two of them were ranked first and second in the top 16 rankings. Different from the top 16 promotion competition, the final of the Beijing singing area is a real live broadcast, so it uses a real-time scoring and counting method, and the contestants can immediately get their scores after singing. For the contestants, the change in the scoring method was a test of their psychological qualities to a certain extent. They needed to work harder in their singing and not make any mistakes. On the other hand, the outstanding performances of Zhang Junhua and Zhua Chuqing had undoubtedly placed great pressure on Lu Chen, who was the seventh to enter the arena. If Lu Chen's Life on a String was considered a good performance in the qualifying round, then the song, You Who Sat Next to Me, in the top 16 of 32 undoubtedly put him in the limelight. 3 out of the 4 judges gave him a perfect score of 10, and the total score of 39 was the highest. In the end, he won the top spot in the top 16, and there was no objection. Subsequently, the debate that broke out in the Sky Forum and Waves blog pushed Lu Chen to the forefront of the storm. His name was known by more people, and he was even regarded as a singing genius of the new generation. Not convinced? Then try to write a classic like In the Spring. As the saying goes, a tall tree attracts the wind. Although Lu Chen has won honor and fame, he has also become the object of many people's envy and hatred. It's unknown how many people are watching his participation in the Beijing singing area final. No one thinks that Lu Chen will fail to enter the top 10 in Beijing, but if he doesn't sing well enough, or can't come up with original works with enough weight, then some people will have something to say. Zhang Junhua and Zhua Chuqing are the best weapons to attack. Therefore, everyone can fully imagine that once Lu Chen's performance has problems, evaluations such as exhausted, weak, and even exhausted will undoubtedly pour down on his head like a rainstorm. Most importantly, Lu Chen has been held up by Beijing television to compete with Shonan TV's Ling Xiaoxiao. The performance of both sides will, to a certain extent, affect the ratings of the two talent shows. If Lu Chen's performance is poor, it would be strange if Shonan TV didn't do something behind his back. Is it so easy to slap the face of the local satellite TV station's overlord? As a result, the pressure on Lu Chen to go on stage is even greater. In the official post bar of Singing China, there have been many passers-by fans worried about Lu Chen. At the same time, there are also many controversies. Lu Chen is on the stage. I'm looking forward to his new song. Zhang Junhua and Zhua Chuqing are both very strong. I'm afraid it's a bit difficult for him to take the top spot again this time. How do you know that he's going to sing a new song? Maybe it's a cover of someone else's work? Che. How is that possible? Chen Fei said that he wants to listen to Lu Chen's new song. Even if he has to hold back, he has to hold back one. Do you think Lu Chen's songs are really written by him? That's amazing. It's not impossible to buy songs. Many people do that. Don't be funny. Big Lu Chen only sells songs to others. Does he need to buy songs from others? What a joke. That's right. Our Lu Chen will never lose to anyone. Ha ha ha, a cover of someone else's song? Do you know how many original works Lu Chen has? How many? Let's wait and see. The official post bar of Singing China has not been established for a long time, but it has more than 2 million followers. Because of the good interaction of the post bar and the live webcast content, thousands of Lu Jiejun members have come here to support Lu Chen since he participated in the competition. Up to now, the official post bar of Singing China has almost become a sub-base for Lu Jiejun. The number of active fans in it is quite astonishing, and it has also affected a large number of passers-by to become fans. Seeing that others are worried and even questioning Lu Chen's strength, many Lu fans laughed. Can Lu Chen not come up with good original works? That's a big joke. Last time in Whale TV, PK theme show, Lu Chen came up with 7 or 8 original works in one go, and eventually won the runner-up in the competition. The whole live video is still hanging in the Whale TV forum. These works are all good to listen to, and there is no lack of classics. It's just that the circle of online live broadcasting is relatively closed. In addition, Lu Chen has no hype promotion, so outsiders don't know much. Otherwise, there is no need to question his ability. In this Singing China Beijing Singing Area Final, Lu Chen has a lot of works to choose from. The only question is, which song should he choose? Of course, Lu Chen's fans support Lu Chen, but if there are fans, there must be haters. The post bar has always been a mix of good and bad. Seeing that Lu fans are so confident and arrogant, it is inevitable that some people will mock and ridicule them. Lu fans really know how to brag. Bragging is not taxed. What's there to be afraid of? Haha. Now that you're dancing happily, don't cover your face later. Since he has written a lot of songs and is so good, why haven't I heard of it before? Haha, the haters started to spew. Of course, Lu fans were not willing to show weakness, and the two sides started fighting on the spot. It's just that no matter how fierce the online post bar is, it doesn't affect the live broadcast of Singing China in the slightest. Hello, Lu Chen, we meet again. The first to greet Lu Chen was Chen Feier. She smiled and said, "What song did you prepare for everyone today?" Lu Chen replied, "Today, I prepared for everyone, but it's still my own original work. This song is also my personal favorite. I hope everyone can like it, and I asked the 4 judges to give me more advice." Good. Chen Feier raised her arms and clapped her hands. We are all looking forward to it. The audience at the scene gave him a lot of face and applauded one after another. Lin Jijia said, "Lu Chen, now that everyone has heard several of your works, they are all excellent. So, what made you embark on this music path?" Unlike the last promotion competition, the contestants in this final have been reduced by half, so the program time is relatively more abundant, and there are more opportunities for interaction between the judges and the contestants. Therefore, according to the requirements of the program director, the judges need to ask the contestants questions before they sing. And in order to ensure the authenticity of the program, the judges' questions are prepared in advance, but they are not informed to the contestants in advance. Therefore, the contestants' language and responsibility are particularly important at this time. Lu Chen thought for a moment and replied, "I used to like music very much. I learned piano and guitar, but at that time, I learned music more to chase girls." Ha ha ha. Hearing Lu Chen's answer, several judges and many of the audience at the scene laughed. Interesting. Chen Feier smiled and said, "Do you still need to take the initiative to chase girls? I think there are very few girls who can refuse you, right? Lu Chen is tall, handsome and talented. Such a person should have many girls taking the initiative to chase after him." Zhenjin asked, "Then you are not a music major?" Lu Chen replied, "Yes, I graduated from the Computer Science Department of Jianghai University." Computer science. His answer amazed everyone, and there was a buzz of discussion at the scene. Many people thought that Lu Chen was a music major, so he could create such excellent works. But they didn't expect that what he studied had little to do with music. Zhenjin praised from the bottom of her heart, "That's really amazing." At this time, Ten Hong said, "So what prompted you to participate in the Singing China competition now?" Lu Chen hesitated for a moment and replied, "Making money. I want to make a lot of money." This answer was once again beyond everyone's expectations. Many people thought that Lu Chen would answer that it was to realize his music dream or wish, because several contestants before him have answered the same question, and their answers were similar. Only Lu Chen said that he wanted to make money. Who doesn't want to make money? But isn't it not good to say it directly? Isn't it damaging to his image? But from another perspective, at least Lu Chen is honest. Tan Hong and Chen Fei looked at each other, and the latter said, "Then start your performance." "Come on." Lu Chen nodded and smiled. Chapter 120. Life is like a big river. Sometimes quiet, sometimes crazy. Reality is like a shackle, binding me, unable to break free. This enigmatic life is as sharp as a knife, and it has seriously injured me again and again. I know that the kind of happiness I want is in that higher sky. I want to fly higher, fly higher. The Beijing television studio was very quiet, except for Lu Chen's passionate singing echoing in people's ears, impacting their minds. The name of Lu Chen's original new song is Fly Higher. He once sang this song on Whale TV, SPK theme show, and then never sang it again. Whale TV, and tonight, standing on the big stage of Beijing television, he used his very recognizable voice and powerful emotions to perform this song perfectly again. Compared with the playing and singing in the live webcast, this time, Fly Higher has been rearranged and added rich timbre accompaniment, so that both the melody and rhythm of the work have been sublimated, and it is more shocking. Lu Chen took out all his strength in this song. Especially in the climax of the chorus, he completely opened his voice and challenged the new height of his voice. This naturally gave a great impact to the 1,500 audience at the scene, as well as the audience in front of the TV and computer. At the same time, it also deeply touched the 4 judges. Lu Chen, who sang Life on a String in the preliminary round, had a somewhat lazy and casual style. He sang this melodious love song affectionately, giving people a pleasant, comfortable, and even warm feeling. Love song in the top 16 of 32 promotion competition, Lu Chen changed his work to a folk song. A song with sadness and nostalgia, You Who Sat Next to Me, touched the hearts of many people, making them recall their beautiful youth. You Who Sat Next to Me, in terms of the value of the work alone, You Who Sat Next to Me is undoubtedly better than Life on a String. This young and outstanding singer-songwriter is the biggest surprise that Singing China brings to the audience. Both Tan Hong, Chen Fei, and Lin Jijia are looking forward to the Beijing Singing Area Final in the evening. Lu Chen can also come up with the same excellent original works and bring everyone another surprise. However, they knew very well that it wouldn't be easy. It was not unusual for a young singer or composer to come up with 1 or 2 good works, but to create one excellent work after another, it required extremely high talent and a deep foundation. Could the young Lu Chen do it? Could he still show off his inspirations that were refreshing? Other than Lu Chen's diehard fans, no one knew the real answer before he went on stage. In the end, Lu Chen did not disappoint them. His new work was as wonderful as ever, or perhaps even more so. And his style changed again, as if he had vented all the repressed emotions in his heart through this song, completely let go of his embrace, struggled to break free from all the fetters, and rushed to the highest peak. I want to fly higher, fly higher. Dance like the wind, break free from the embrace. I want to fly higher, fly higher. My wings rolled up a storm, my heart screamed, fly higher. Fly higher, fly higher. Many of the live audience stood up. Regardless of the fact that Lu Chen's singing was not over, they clapped their hands hard to encourage and cheer for him. Such a warm and exciting scene could not be seen among the previous contestants. Because these audiences were not hired by the TV station. They did not memorize the lines in advance, nor were they assigned the tasks required for filming. Their emotions were completely real, and their expressions came from the heart. The atmosphere of the scene could not be felt in front of the screen. Until Lu Chen shouted the last few lyrics at the top of his voice. I want to fly higher, fly higher. Dance like the wind, break free from the embrace. while all the audience got up to greet him, including the 4 judges. Everyone was setting off a storm with the warmest applause, helping Lu Chen fly higher. At this moment, there was no need for any words. Applause was enough to express everything. Many people believe that this moment will become one of the most profound memories in their lives. The live broadcast switched to the waiting area of the big stage. In tonight's singing area final, 2 members of Lu Chen's group of relatives and friends came to the scene to help. They are Lu Shi and Chen Xian. After Lu Chen talked to Chen Xian that day, the girl from Sichuan resigned the next day and officially joined Lu Chen's studio as an assistant and office clerk beside Lu Shi. After a few days of trial, Lu Shi was quite satisfied with her, so she was brought over for Lu Chen's competition in the evening. Chen Xian was also applauding. Because of excitement, her round face was red, like a ripe apple, revealing a bit of beauty and cuteness. In contrast, Lu Shi was much more reserved, and the speed of her applause was neither too fast nor too slow. However, the sparkling crystal in the corner of her eyes clearly told people that her heart was not as calm as it seemed on the surface. This song, Fly Higher, also deeply moved Lu Shi. She suddenly found that her younger brother was no longer the ignorant and naughty child he used to be. He has grown up, matured, and he already has the wings to fly. She suddenly felt a little disappointed. The applause lasted for more than a minute before it slowly subsided. Lu Chen bowed deeply, "Thank you." When everyone's mood almost returned to normal, Zhen was the first to say, "Your song reminds me of In the Spring." The expression of emotion is very strong, and the lyrics are very meaningful. Lu Chen, do you know? You made me believe that the original power of domestic pop music will never die, and there will always be hope. She pressed the scoring device heavily, "So this time I give you 10 points. The audience burst into thunderous applause again. In the last competition, Zhen gave Lu Chen the only 9 points. Lu Chen "Thank you, Teacher Zhen." Tan Hong suddenly stood up, strode onto the stage, opened his arms and gave Lu Chen a hug. Well written, and even better sung. His move was beyond everyone's expectations, and laughter and applause sounded at the same time. Tan Hong, who returned to the judges' table, also gave Lu Chen a full 10 points. Chen Fei said with a smile, "Brother Tan likes to support newcomers the most, and I also like this song. Lu Chen, you are an excellent singer and songwriter, and I like your works very much, so I want to invite you to be a guest of my concert in Beijing in the second half of the year. Would you like to?" Wow! Whether it was the 1,500 audience at the scene or the hundreds of millions of viewers in front of the screen, all of them were surprised. Chen Fei appreciates Lu Chen. Anyone can see that, but no one expected that she would invite Lu Chen to be a guest of her concert. For a newcomer who has just made her debut, this is an extremely high honor and great luck. In the domestic pop music world, Chen Fei has always had the reputation of the queen of sweet songs. She has created a number of record sales records for female singers. Although she no longer has the glory of the past, she is still a big star in the circle. Being supported by Chen Fei, and singing at her concert, the effect is no worse than appearing on the stage of Singing China. Lu Chen was also stunned, but he reacted quickly and immediately replied, "It's my honor." Chen Fei smiled sweetly, and the camera accurately captured her expression at the moment. It was incomparably moving. Chen Fei also gave Lu Chen 10 points. Finally, it was Lin Jijia. After encouraging Lu Chen with a few words, he added 10 points to Lu Chen. 40 points. Lu Chen got all the judges' scores in one fell swoop. Although it is recognized that he will be promoted to the top 10, this unsurpassable score has increased his chances of winning the top spot again. Next, it depends on the votes of the live audience and the audience outside the venue. The host came up to the stage and stood beside Lu Chen, holding a tablet in his hand. He came to announce the results of the real-time vote count. Contestant name, Lu Chen. Contestant number, 007. Song, Fly Higher. Judges total score, 40 points. Live audience votes, 1,488 votes. Off-site audience votes, 1275280 votes. Overall score, 98. 71 points. Unsurpassable. Compared with the last game, in the same counting time, Lu Chen's total number of off-site audience votes has nearly tripled, from 700,000 plus to 1.27 million plus, which is enough to show his current popularity. With a total score of 98.71, there is no suspense for him to top the top 10 in Beijing. It should be known that the first two outstanding contestants, Zhang Junhua and Zhou Chuqing, only have a combined score of 94.23 and 93.17, which is a big gap from Lu Chen. With the help of this high score, Lu Chen's name appeared at the top of the list on the big screen. Once again, there was a warm applause from the audience. Also boiling were Whale TV's Lu Fei Live broadcasting room and the official post bar of Singing China. Especially in the post bar, Lu Chen's fans, who have endured for almost 10 minutes, raised their eyebrows and exhaled. Everyone turned over all the previous questioning posts and black posts, slapped their faces, whipped their corpses, and ridiculed them to their heart's content. Those who have been slapped in the face have all disappeared. Even if they want to fight back, they have no weapons. Lu Chen not only got the highest score so far, but he also got the support of two big stars, Tan Hong and Chen Feier. The latter even invited Lu Chen to be a guest at his concert. How can this be questioned? How can it be discredited? Only a few IDs were stubborn, saying that the competition was not over, and that it was still unknown who would win. However, they were doomed to be disappointed. None of the 8 contestants who appeared after Lu Chen could break his total score record, and even Zhang Junhua and Zhou Chuqing could not surpass it. Therefore, Lu Chen indisputably won the top 10 of Singing China in Beijing's singing area. In addition to the honor of being the chief, he also received an after-tax bonus from Beijing television. 100,000 yuan. Chapter 121. Singing China is the first reality talent show launched by Beijing television. It is divided into 7 major singing areas: Beijing, Xinjiang, Huhai, Hangzhou, Tianfu, Huacheng, and Bihai, with a total prize amount of more than 30 million. Big enough to surpass Shonan TV, which is famous for its wealth. Although only 10 million of the 30 million is a cash reward, and the rest is a gimmick for contract training and packaging promotion, it is still a large amount of money. The reward for the singing area champion reaches 100,000, the runner-up is 50,000, the third and third place is 20,000, and the remaining 7 contestants who advance to the top 10 also have 10,000, all of which are after-tax bonuses. After the top 10 in Beijing's singing area are born, they will go to the 6 major singing areas in the country at the beginning of next month for a round-robin competition. The top 10 winners will have corresponding bonuses until the top 10 are decided, and then they will return to Beijing for the final election. The bonus for the national champion is as high as 5 million, including 1 million cash rewards and 4 million new star training funds. It is precisely because of such generous rewards that Singing China has been pursued by countless professional and non-professional singers. The competition in the 7 major singing areas is in full swing, and the ratings are rising steadily. Beijing Satellite TV has made a lot of money in advertising. As the most important Beijing singing area of the 7 major singing areas, the ratings of the top 10 finals on the evening of July 31st broke through 4% and reached 4.76%, which is very close to the 5% fire standard. At present, the ratings survey of domestic TV programs is independently completed by New Video Distance Company, a subsidiary of the State Administration of Radio, Film and Television. It belongs to a state-owned third-party authority, so there is no doubt about its authenticity. In the past, when the efficiency of TV advertising doubled, there were as many as a dozen domestic TV program rating survey agencies. Because there was no fixed standard, coupled with the endless emergence of black box operations and insider trading, there was a chaotic and disorderly situation. Some organizations don't even have any qualifications, but they dare to make a ratings ranking list. Later, because the opinions of the industry were too great, the State Administration of Radio, film and television personally set up new video distance, sweeping all the ghosts and snakes into the garbage heap of history, so that domestic TV programs have reliable ratings data. New video distance's ratings data collection is not limited to TV screens, but also includes live webcasts. The competition of Beijing Television's Singing China, Beijing's singing area has never exceeded 4%. This time, it has reached a breakthrough of 4.76%, an increase of as much as 1%, which is worth celebrating. On the evening of August 1st, Shonan TV, Super Singer, first national final broadcast, with a rating of 3.42%. Such a result was a big surprise. It should be known that in terms of variety shows, Xiangnan satellite TV has always been the hegemon. It has basically never lost in the showdown with other satellite TV. In the early stage, it also steadily suppressed Beijing satellite TV. But the situation finally changed. Although the specific reason needs to be analyzed in detail, many people in the industry believe that the decline in the ratings of Super Singer has a certain relationship with the weakness of Ling Xiaoxiao, who is strongly supported by it. In the competition that night, Ling Xiaoxiao's original work, Kaleidoscope, had a mediocre performance. Furthermore, on the internet, discussions about his work copying the former Korean boy group KDK had not subsided. In contrast, as Ling Xiaoxiao's competitor, Lu Chen, who was supported by Singing China, became braver and braver. Lu Chen's original work, Fly Higher, which he brought out in the top 10 final of Beijing's singing area, appeared on the new song list of QQ Music the next day, ranked 9th, and the number of clicks and downloads rose amazingly. In the Waves blog, Xiao Xiao support group was no longer arrogant. In the face of Lu Jiejun's provocation, they all pretended to be dead dogs. And with the rising ratings of Singing China, Lu Chen finally broke through his original circle and initially had his own status and reputation in the pop music world or the big entertainment industry. Although he is still a young star, as an independent artist, it is already a small miracle that he can come to this step, and in the foreseeable future, his star will become even more brilliant. In the 2 days after the end of the top 10 final of Beijing's singing area, a number of entertainment media and brokerage companies came to the door. They obviously inquired about Lu Chen's background and wanted to come early to pick up the leftovers. Lu Chen pushed all these visitors to Lu Shi. His opinion is very clear, that is, there is no need to talk about signing a contract, but there is no problem with cooperation, as long as the other party has sincerity. And his so-called cooperation, to put it bluntly, is to sell songs. Do you have any new idols, little fresh meat men and women groups that need good songs? Then we, Lu Chen Studio, can tailor-make songs for customers. As for the quality of the work, please refer to, In the Spring, Reason to Be Strong, You Who Sat Next to Me, Fly Higher, and so on. As for the price, a song starts at 200,000, and there is no cap. Lu Chen Studios offer scared away several guys who came with the idea of picking up cheap goods, and also made several other powerful companies feel very conflicted. Lu Chen's talent is beyond doubt. The value of a single song, In the Spring, not to mention 200,000, even if it's 1 million, it's worth it. But such a classic is really rare. Spending 200,000 to buy a song is not much pressure for them, but if the bought song is not suitable or can't create enough benefits, the person in charge will undoubtedly suffer. In any case, Lu Chen's rise is too fast. Unlike the veteran big-name writers, whether it is credibility or strength, they are trustworthy. What if his inspiration dries up and he can no longer write good songs? Not to mention that the 200,000 will be thrown into the water, he will also be laughed at by his peers. After all, Lu Chen has created a lot of works now. As a young newcomer, his accumulation is still shallow. In addition, there are some rumors in the circle, saying that songs such as, In the Spring, Reason to Be Strong, I Want to Have a Home, and Fly Higher, are not written by Lu Chen himself, and may be operated by a behind-the-scenes team. It wasn't like something like this hadn't happened before. Nowadays, the so-called grassroots stars, 99% of them are hyped up. This kind of rumor is very convincing, and there is a certain truth to it. Although it is said that mediocrity is not envied, Lu Chen, who has no roots and no foundation on the surface, is so popular, and there is a reason for it. Therefore, after talking with Lu Shi, these companies chose to wait and see for the time being. Lu Chen didn't care about this at all. He said to Lu Shi, next time they come to our door, then raise the price of a song to 300,000, not a cent less. Lu Shi said with a smile, isn't that not good? Lu Chen is full of confidence. At that time, they will come to us to beg, not us to beg them. Lu Chen's greatest wealth came from the countless classic masterpieces in the dream world. It was impossible for him to sing all of these outstanding works himself. He must sell a lot of them. But if he takes out too many good things, they won't be worth much. Lu Chen is very clear about this, so he would rather rot in his own hands than sell them cheaply in large quantities. These entertainment media companies obviously haven't realized it yet, or they are aware of it but don't dare to bet on his strength. It's very normal to continue to wait and see. However, that was then and this is now. When the Singing China competition is over, the situation is bound to be big different. It will no longer be 2 or 3 kittens that come to his door. Lu Chen is full of confidence in this. He set up his own studio and took the road of independent artists, without thinking about how to compete with his peers in the industry. Lu Chen's studio is entirely for Lu Chen's own service. The studio will not sign people or poach people, nor compete for resources, but create resources, which will undoubtedly be able to have friendly cooperation with most of his peers. For example, Nirvana Studios, which is producing an album for him. At least for now, Lu Chen has no ambition to build an entertainment media empire. What he wants is to become a superstar like Tan Hong, and even surpass his childhood idol and become a real perfect star. He wants everyone to remember his name and bring all the classics of the dream world to this world. And it may take a lifetime to realize such a dream. Some people come and go back empty-handed. There were also people who came, and they wouldn't rest until they brought something back. For such people, Lu Chen still welcomes them. Hello, Director Su. On August 3rd, the day before Lu Chen left for Xinjiang, Su Qingmei, director of Light Rain Media, came to the studio. The young lady came over with 2 assistants, and Lu Chen personally received them. After all, Light Rain Media is his biggest partner at present. Su Qingmei is dismissive of the small studio and has no interest in visiting. She said straightforwardly, Lu Chen, we want the song, Fly Higher. We can sign the contract now. The Bionics became a hit, and, in the spring, has been on the top of the original music charts for 3 weeks. As a signing company, how can Light Rain Media ignore the power of Lu Chen? So Su Qingmei came, even though she still doesn't like Lu Chen. Lu Chen smiled faintly and said, this song is going to be the second main song of the album for the North Needle Band, right? Su Qingmei was surprised, how do you know? It's not difficult to guess. Originally, Light Rain Media first signed the North Needle Band, and then signed the Bionics. Because the latter quickly put together a small album, they were the first to debut. Now that the Bionics is popular, Light Rain Media wants to strike while the iron is hot, and on the other hand, they also want to promote the North Needle Band to improve their position in the industry. With the Bionics as an example, a single main song, Blue Lotus, obviously can't meet the requirements of Light Rain Media for the North Needle Band. Their appetite has been whetted. About the copyright, you can talk to the manager of our studio. Lu Chen is too lazy to answer her question, and he solemnly introduced his elder sister to the other party. Lu Shi is also my agent. He believes that with Lu Shi's ability, it's enough to keep this young lady. He will not let Light Rain Media benefit. This is the first time Su Qingmei and Lu Shi met. When they shook hands, their eyes met, and invisible sparks flashed in the air. Chapter 122. Pa. A stack of printed paper was slammed on the desk, and was immediately picked up again. Su Qingmei used the paper as a fan and fanned hard. The cool breeze could not blow away the irritation and depression in her heart. While fanning, she gritted her teeth and said, "It's really infuriating. Didn't you turn on the air conditioner in your room?" The young lady felt that her whole body was steaming hot, as if she had just been exposed to the sun. Dong Yu looked at Su Qingmei with funny eyes and asked, "What's wrong?" It was so hot outside. How could the air conditioner be turned off in the office of the general manager of Light Rain Media? It was Su Qingmei's own mood problem. Su Qingmei said angrily, "It's all because of that guy. Today, I worked hard to go to the Blue Sky Creative Park on the 5th Ring Road. It wasn't easy for me to find his broken studio. I didn't expect that guy to hire a manager agent called Lu Shi to negotiate with me." She held the contract in her hand, and her 2 willow leaf eyebrows were raised. "Not only did he ask me for 200,000 yuan for a song, but he didn't transfer all the copyrights. The contract was only signed for 5 years. It's simply an exorbitant price." Thinking of the previous negotiation with Lu Shi and Lu Chen's studio, Su Qingmei's heart was burning again. The other party was about the same age as her. Although on the surface, she was polite and agreed to sell the copyrights of the song, but she refused to budge on the specific contract, and her attitude was very tough. Young Miss Su was not so easy to talk to. She angrily left the stall and ran back. She could reluctantly accept buying all the copyrights of Fly Higher for 200,000 yuan. It should be known that the song has been publicly sung by Lu Chen, and there was a live download in QQ Music. Its value must be big, lower than In the Spring, but the other party still held it as a treasure. The more she thought about it, the more annoyed she became. Oh. But to Su Qingmei's disappointment, Dong Yu's expression was not the slightest bit different, no excitement or anger. It was as if she had expected such a situation. "Why aren't you angry?" Dong Yu couldn't help laughing. She opened the drawer and took out a piece of paper from it and handed it to Su Qingmei. "What?" Su Qingmei took it, a little confused. Upon a closer look, it turned out to be the latest sales data of the Bionics' debut album, In the Spring, in QQ Music. As of August 1st, In the Spring album package download count, 110560. Title track In the Spring single download count, 250150. Reason to Be Strong single, 97803 inch I Want to Have a Home single, 72610 total download count, 500,000 plus. QQ Music was the first network company to launch a paid download service for genuine music in China, and its paid download chart has always been regarded as one of the golden songs in the pop music world. The Bionics' In the Spring is a small album with only 5 songs in total. It has been on the shelves of QQ Music for some time and is currently ranked first in sales. Among the singles, In the Spring was also ranked number 1, the double champion. Such a result, for a band that had just debuted and released their first album, was simply heaven-defying. Apart from the honor, 500,000 plus paid downloads also represented a huge profit. The price of downloading a high-quality genuine single in QQ Music was 1.0 yuan, and the album package download was 20% off. Then the package price of In the Spring album was 4.0 yuan, and the 110,000 plus downloads was 440,000 yuan. The 3 singles totaled 420,000 plus, and all of them added up to nearly 900,000 yuan. After entering the internet era, due to the emergence of new media and the proliferation of pirated resources, the traditional record industry has suffered an unprecedented blow. CD sales have declined year by year, and now it has reached the point of barely surviving. Therefore, in today's pop music world, except for a few underground musicians, no singers or companies still rely on selling records to support themselves. They all run towards the fan economy, making money through advertising endorsements, peripheral development and so on. Stars produce albums and records, and earn money at a loss, just to brush up and meet the requirements of fans. The launch of genuine paid downloads on music websites has more or less become a bright spot in the sales of music products. But now, pirated resources can be downloaded casually on the internet, and those who are willing to spend money to buy songs are basically real fans. Therefore, although the number of downloads is only tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, it is already an extremely beautiful result. In the Spring has won the crown all the way, which is enough to be proud of. Of course, as the copyright owner, Light Rain Media cannot take all the profits, and has to share the profits with QQ Music. In addition, the cost of marketing is very high, and it is far from enough to offset the cost by sharing the income. But it must be known that QQ Music is just one of the marketing channels, and it is not the focus. Looking at the thin piece of printing paper in her hand, Su Qingmei could fully weigh the weight of it. Her anger gradually subsided. At the same time, she also understood Dong Yu's intention. Lu Chen's studio has the qualification to wait for the highest price. The sales results of the album and single are right here, and anyone can log on to the website to check. If it was Su Qingmei herself, what reason is there not to insist and be tough? Now, Lu Chen and Lu Chen Studios' reputation is not big enough, and it is estimated that many peers in the industry have not reacted, but it would be naive to underestimate their sensitivity. Once they smell the smell of profits, those companies will inevitably swarm like flies and participate in the competition. Maybe the price will go up. Su Qingmei suddenly couldn't sit still. Then I'll go and talk to her right now. Dong, you didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Doesn't that just give her a reason to continue to raise the price? Su Qingmei's pretty face turned red and she sat down again. Dong, you couldn't help saying, in the future, let manager Song of the brokerage department go to negotiate with Lu Chen's studio. She was just short of criticizing Su Qingmei for not doing her job properly. You are the music director, don't always steal other people's work. Su Qingmei bit her lip, her eyes turned, and suddenly said, let's poach Lu Shi. I feel that she is very smart and capable. Let her be the manager of the business department and negotiate with that guy in the future. This is called using a person's spear to attack a person's shield. Isn't Lu Chen very capable? Let's try the person he invited himself. The more Su Qingmei thought about it, the more she felt that this idea was wonderful. As for whether she could poach Lu Shi, that was not a problem at all. The treatment, strength, and development potential of Light Rain Media were enough to throw that small studio 3 streets away. The front door was thrown to the Beihai. Seeing Su Qingmei's face showing a proud smile, Dong Yu touched her forehead speechlessly. She took out another document from the drawer and handed it to Su Qingmei. Su Qingmei came back to her senses and took a look at it. She found that it was actually Lu Chen's personal information. Su Qingmei couldn't help but be stunned. What does Sister Dong mean? Dong Yu said lightly, take a closer look at Lu Chen's family situation. Under her reminder, Su Qingmei's eyes fell on the family column of this information. Father, Lu Qingxing, deceased, / mother, Fang Yun, accountant of the Binhai Local Taxation Bureau of Zhejiang Province, sister, Lu Shi / sister, Lu Shui Lu Shi? Lu Shi. Su Qingmei almost jumped up. Isn't the manager of Lu Chen's studio and Lu Chen's agent called Lu Shi? She still has her business card in her Chanel bag. This time it's really embarrassing. Su Qingmei's face turned red, and she didn't dare to look at Dong Yu. She claimed to be an elite, but she made mistakes again and again. She even wanted to poach Lu Chen's sister to deal with Lu Chen. If it wasn't for Dong Yu's reminder, if she really did that, she would be laughed to death. Ah. I don't care. Su Qingmei dropped the information in her hand and hurriedly grabbed her bag and ran out. Dong Yu couldn't help laughing. She picked up the phone on the table and called Song Sinwei to her office through the internal line. Song Sinwei was about 30 years old. He wore a suit and a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. His hair was neatly combed. He wasn't very handsome, but he could be said to be dignified. At first glance, one could tell that he was the kind of elite in the workplace. He was the deputy general manager of Light Rain Media and the manager of the brokerage department. He was also Dong Yu's right-hand man. Dong Yu handed over Lu Chen's information and the performance of the bionics to Song Sinwei. At the same time, she told him about the previous negotiation between Su Qingmei and Lu Chen's studio. Dong Yu said, in addition to the right of authorship, we must take all the copyrights of this song. This is the premise of the negotiation, but the transfer fee can be discussed. I'll give you the authority within 500,000 yuan. Song Sinwei was surprised. Isn't that too much? 500,000 yuan for a song was a bit exaggerated. Even the painstaking work of the top stars in the industry was nothing more than this. Dong Yu smiled and said, "That depends on your negotiating ability, manager Song. This song, Fly Higher, is very suitable for the North Needle Band. I don't want others to take it away, and there will definitely be people who want to take it away." Song Sinwei's heart trembled and he said solemnly, "I understand." Dong Yu leaned back in the chair and said, "Then you go. Remember not to let the other party feel that we are in a hurry." Inadvertently, she revealed her infinitely beautiful figure. Song Sinwei nodded, and an undetectable blazing color flashed in his eyes. The next day, he took his assistant to Lu Chen's studio to negotiate again about the song, Fly Higher. But at this time, Lu Chen was no longer in Beijing. He followed the Singing China program team to Xinjiang and began a nationwide PK tour. On August 5, the Xinjiang PK battle began, and Lu Chen defeated his opponent with an original work, Love in the Wind. On August 8, he turned to Shanghai and relied on The Bright Times of Youth to narrowly defeat Zhang Xumin, the top 10 chief of Shanghai. At that time, the total score between the two was only 175 points apart. On August 11, the tour team came to Hangzhou. In his own half of home ground, Lu Chen swept the challengers in Hangzhou's singing area with Those Flowers and One Another City. He sang all the way and was invincible. Chapter 123. In August, Hangzhou was a city of flowing gold. It had just rained, and the sky was clear again. Under the scorching sun, the water vapor on the ground rose, bringing with it a humid and sultry feeling. It also gave people a feeling that the surrounding scene was not real. Although the weather was not so pleasant, there were still a lot of people on the shore of West Lake at noon. As one of the 7 ancient capitals, Hangzhou is also one of the most famous tourist attractions in China. The number of tourists received every year is more than 70 million. Especially during holidays, all the scenic spots are simply packed. Crowdedness and beauty were Lu Chen's deepest impression of his hometown provincial capital. And here, he also had countless good memories. However, returning to Hangzhou again after more than a month, Lu Chen unexpectedly had a strange feeling. Fortunately, he still remembered the way to the restaurant, otherwise he would have embarrassed himself in front of several friends. After passing through the long alley, an antique mansion appeared in front of him. It had white walls, green tiles, and green trees. The red lacquered door was wide open, and 4 red lanterns hung under the eaves. There were 4 words written in black on a white background on each of them. Egret Restaurant. There was a pair of couplets pasted on the left and right pillars in front of the door, 2 orioles singing on the green willow / a group of egrets flying in the blue sky. "Brother Lu Chen, is this a restaurant?" Mu Xiaochu looked around curiously, and her dark eyes were full of surprise. It was no wonder that she was surprised, because it didn't look like a restaurant at all, but rather a garden house of an ancient gentry. The people coming and going exuded the atmosphere of a scholarly family. Lu Chen said with a smile, "This was originally the residence of a jinshi, and it has been changed into a restaurant for many years." Egret Restaurant is a century-old restaurant, featuring local Hangzhou cuisine and has many branches in Hangzhou. But the most authentic one is the Egret Restaurant on the edge of West Lake, where the chef is a top chef. If he came here temporarily, there would definitely be no seat. Lu Chen happened to have a VIP membership card of Egret Restaurant, so he could book a box seat in advance. It was his first time to eat at Egret Restaurant since his family had an accident. In addition to Mu Xiaochu, there were also Li Feiyu and 2 members of Singing China tour team, Zhang Junhua and Lin Lang. Zhang Junhua is 2 years older than Lu Chen and graduated from the Department of Modern Music of Beiying College. In the top 10 of the Beijing singing area, he once topped the overall score with an original song, Love Ocean, and was later surpassed by Lu Chen. Even so, Zhang Junhua was also a very talented young singer. It was said that he had already signed a contract with an entertainment company. Lin Lang is a contestant in Xinjiang's singing area. In the first competition, he defeated Zhou Chuqing and joined the tour team. Lin Lang was the same age as Mu Xiaochu, and was also a university student. He had a lively and active personality, and was good at singing and dancing. He also had his own original works, so he was quite popular in the team. In the Singing China national tour competition, the first top 10 in Beijing came out. After the first stop in Xinjiang, the second stop in Shanghai and the third stop in Hangzhou, there were only 3 people left: Lu Chen, Zhang Junhua and Mu Xiaochu. The top 10 in each singing area were not weak, so the competition seemed very cruel. After the competition in Hangzhou's singing area last night, today the program team and the tour team will stay here for another day, and then set off for the next stop, Tianfu, tomorrow. Therefore, as a native of this province, Lu Chen naturally wanted to do his duty as a host and invited Zhang Junhua and Mu Xiaochu out to play. After 3 competitions, the 3 people have become familiar with each other and can be regarded as ordinary friends. Li Feiyu has always followed Lu Chen as an assistant. As for Lin Lang, this guy was very familiar with people, and he seemed to like Mu Xiaochu a little, so he also followed. Lu Chen didn't care. Anyway, it was just an extra pair of chopsticks. After showing their VIP gold card to the waiter of the restaurant, the 5 people quickly came to the reserved box. The box was a small wing room with a completely antique decoration. It was very elegant. When they opened the window, they could see the green bamboo forest and the pond outside. The cool breeze was blowing, and it was not hot at all. "Brother Chen, this place is really good," Lin Lang exclaimed. "Did you come here often before? It must be very expensive, right?" Today, it was said that Lu Chen would treat them, but no one expected that he would bring everyone to such a place. Lin Lang was still young, so he felt a little embarrassed. Lu Chen said with a smile, "I've been here twice before. The membership card was given by others. The consumption here is actually not expensive. Although Egret Restaurant is a century-old restaurant, its consumption level has always been very high. As long as it doesn't order big dishes, even ordinary working-class people have no pressure to eat a meal, so its business is extremely hot. The price of the headquarter by West Lake is a little higher, but it is also within the acceptable range. The key is that the Hangzhou cuisine here is the most authentic. Since Lu Chen is treating, he naturally wants to let his friends taste the real good." Lu Chen's VIP card was a small gift from Lu Qingxing's former friend in the business world. He once brought his girlfriend to eat several times. Unfortunately, things have changed now. His father died for some reason, and his girlfriend broke up early. Only this Egret restaurant has not changed. With a trace of sadness in his heart, Lu Chen called the waiter to order. While waiting for the dishes to be served, Li Feiyu took out the digital camera and turned it on. First, he pointed the camera at Lu Chen. Li Feiyu followed Lu Chen all the way as an assistant. His main task was to record and broadcast Lu Chen's tournament tour experience to hundreds of thousands of fans in Whale TV. For fans, this is undoubtedly a very new thing. Every night, there are as many as 500,000 plus viewers waiting in front of the computer for the broadcast, so that Lu Chen can still earn a lot of tips in the process of going out to compete. In fact, it is also possible to do a live broadcast with a mobile phone outdoors, but in order to ensure the quality of the content, Li Feiyu is basically recorded during the day, and then simply edited it with software when he goes back. If he has time, Lu Chen will broadcast it himself. If he has to compete, Li Feiyu will replace him in the live broadcast. Through such interaction and communication, the number of fans is increasing, and Lu Jiajun is growing. These enthusiastic and lovely fans are undoubtedly one of the important foundations for Lu Chen to gain a foothold in the entertainment industry. Therefore, apart from the contract, Lu Chen will not easily give up the work of online live broadcasting. He is also constantly exploring better ways of live interaction. Li Feiyu, who was holding the camera, said with a smile, "This is a rare opportunity. De Chen, you say hello to everyone first, and then I will film a few future big star friends." Lu Chen smiled and waved his hand and said, "Hello everyone, I am your anchor, Lu Chen. We are now at the Egret restaurant on the shore of West Lake in Hangzhou. We are inviting 3 friends of the tour team to dinner. This is little sister Xiaochu, whom everyone likes. The camera immediately pointed at Mu Xiaochu, who smiled shyly and waved, "Hello everyone." Today, Mu Xiaochu wore a plain white short skirt, like a small white flower, with a soft beauty. Lu Chen has a good impression of this shy junior sister, but it is not the feelings between men and women, but the kind of care that a brother has for his sister, so he often takes care of her along the way. He filmed Mu Xiaochu, then Zhang Junhua and Lin Lang, both of whom also gave him face. After Li Feiyu finished filming, Lin Lang asked curiously, "Brother Chen, are you filming for publicity?" Lu Chen explained, "No, it is for others to watch at night." "Do you know about online anchors?" Mu Xiaochu, Zhang Junhua and Lin Lang nodded at the same time. Lu Chen smiled and said, "I am a contracted online anchor, so what I am filming now is considered material. This is not a secret, so there is nothing to hide." Lin Lang opened his eyes in surprise. "Brother Chen, I thought you signed with a big company. How did you think of doing this? Is it very profitable to be an anchor?" Although he did not mean it, when he talked about online anchors, his tone was still a little unpleasant. Zhang Junhua also showed a disapproving look. Online anchors are a new profession in the last 2 years. Because of the low threshold and fierce competition, there has been a lot of negative news in the industry, such as female anchors selling their bodies and breasts, and unscrupulously fighting for a position. The corresponding media reports are often biased, so people can't help but have a bad impression of this industry. Neither of them expected that Lu Chen's current profession was actually a grassroots network anchor. With his strength and talent, he could totally sign a contract with a big company. There was no need for him to condescend to such a level. Lu Chen saw both of their expressions and smiled. "I am an independent artist, and I do not plan to sign with an entertainment agency. In fact, being an online anchor is very interesting. It is nothing more than playing, singing, joking and performing. I can make a lot of friends. If there is a chance, you can also try it." Lu Chen has no intention of reversing the prejudice between the two, because there are some bad phenomena in online live broadcasting. It is enough that he has a clear conscience. Zhang Junhua couldn't help but say, "How much money can you make? I heard it is quite boasting." In fact, this person has always been a little unconvinced by Lu Chen. So he took the opportunity to tease him. Lu Chen said lightly, "There must be some exaggeration in the publicity outside. For someone like me, with a fixed salary and a share of tips, I probably only make about 1,000,000 yuan a year." He still underestimated. Clatter. The chopsticks in Lin Lang's hand fell on the table, and Zhang Junhua's expression suddenly froze. 1,000,000 yuan? Only 1,000,000 yuan? Is this for real? Mu Xiaochu was in awe. "Brother Lu Chen, you are really amazing." This sentence sounds very ambiguous. Lu Chen coughed and said, "The dishes are coming up. Everyone, get ready to eat. Fill your stomachs first. The world is big, but eating is the most important." It was just that someone suddenly seemed to have lost his appetite. Then Lu Chen did not care. Chapter 124. On August 14th, the Singing China tour team finished the competition in Tianfu. Of the 10 singers in the tour team, 3 were eliminated from the competition, including Lin Lang. Lu Chen, without any suspense, defeated the challenger again and continued his national tour. The rules of Singing China competition were originally created by Beijing Television. Due to its cruelty, the top 10 contestants in Beijing's singing area were left after the end of the competition in Hangzhou, leaving Lu Chen, Mu Xiaochu, and Zhang Junhua. On the surface, such rules are very disadvantageous to the contestants in the front of the singing area, especially the Beijing singing area. Because if they want to be promoted to the top 10 in the country to participate in the final, they must defeat the challengers in the other 6 singing areas all the way. If they lose any PK, they will lose the chance, and there is even no resurrection process. But from another point of view, the contestants in Beijing's singing area can theoretically have the most appearances. Although the intensive tour competition is a great test of willpower and endurance, as long as they persist, the popularity accumulated is still very strong. In addition, there is also a bonus for the competition, which is 50,000 yuan for a win. Lu Chen, Mu Xiaochu, and Zhang Junhua have earned 200,000 yuan after the competition in Xinjiang, Shanghai, Hangzhou and Tianfu. Including the bonus for the top 10 champion in Beijing's singing area, Lu Chen has received 300,000 yuan after tax. Although the contestants in the singing area at the back can wait for the exhausted at their leisure, they have also lost a lot of opportunities to win bonuses and show their faces. Which is the best choice? It all depends on personal freedom. It is believed that when the second season of Singing China begins next year, how to choose the singing area will be a big problem. And in the tour competition, Lu Chen is undoubtedly the most eye-catching contestant in Singing China, because all the songs he has taken out are original, and none of them are covers. All originals are acceptable. What's terrible is that Lu Chen's works have maintained a high quality. Not to mention the song, In the Spring, which has become a big hit, just his own singing of, You Who Sat Next to Me, Fly Higher, Love in the Wind, Those Flowers, and so on can be called excellent and even classic works. These outstanding original songs were loved by a large number of audiences, and the number of fans increased day by day. In blogs, forums, post bars, many fans have hailed Lu Chen as the leader of the new generation of singers. In the pop and entertainment circles, more and more people began to discuss his works. Some people even shouted that domestic original works were on the rise again, and the appearance of Lu Chen was the best proof. As a result, the ratings of Singing China have continued to increase. In contrast, Shonan TV's Super Singer is undoubtedly overshadowed. Even if it entered the national finals ahead of Singing China, the ratings of recent issues are only about 3%. Some people joke that the real Super Singer is in Singing China. On the contrary, Super Singer has several very good singers. Both sides took the wrong script. On the Waves blog, the number of Lu Chen's fans had reached more than 5 million after the end of the Battle of Tianfu. As an originally unknown newcomer, Lu Chen's successful rise has been applauded by thousands of fans and audiences, but at the same time, it has also made some people jealous and hateful. As a result, the black tide quietly rose. August 18th, the second day after the end of Singing China Deep Sea Singing Area Competition. At about 7 p.m., a blog post was suddenly forwarded in large numbers and spread around the Waves blog. The title of the blog post is, The Story of Me and in the Spring. The blogger's ID is, Wandering Singer Lao Hai. The newly registered blogger wrote in the article that he is a singer who has been wandering in Beijing for more than 20 years. At the age of 19, he left his hometown and came to the capital to develop and pursue his own musical dream. However, the reality is cruel, and he can't see any hope because of hitting his dream. Over the past 20 years, Lao Hai has sung in bars, in underground passages, and in People's Square. In order to make a living, he often works as a laborer and works hard for 3 meals a day. But he has never given up his dream and struggled on the road of music. Lao Hai has written a lot of works. Probably because of his lack of talent, his works have always been unpopular, but one of his works is his favorite, and he firmly believes that it is valuable. The name of this work is Spring. After several years of creation and repeated revision, it has not been finalized, and even the lyrics are very imperfect, so it has not been registered for copyright. However, he showed the draft to several friends, and everyone said that the song was very good. He was also full of hope. But what Lao Hai didn't expect was that some time ago, he suddenly heard a familiar melody in a bar. Only then did he know that a new song called, In the Spring, was very popular and was covered by many people. And this song and his work, apart from the lyrics, the melody was very similar. At that time, Lao Hai felt as if he had been struck by a bolt from the blue, and his whole person was shocked. How could this be? Lao Hai couldn't believe this fact. He was full of depression and couldn't vent, so he could only talk to his friends. But his friends can't do anything, because this song, In the Spring, has already been copyrighted by others. How can you prove that it is your own work without any evidence? So, be optimistic. There's no need to shout everywhere. People will only say that you are jealous and slandering. Lao Hai knows that his friends are also doing this for his own good. He is just a Beijing drifting singer with no power, no money, and no fame. What qualifications does he have to fight with others? Giving up is the best choice. But he really doesn't want to give up. So, he applied for an account in the Waves blog and said his experience. Lao Hai doesn't ask others to believe him. He just wants to get the fairness he deserves. This blog post is very long, and the content is very sensational. With a skillful writing style, a middle-aged singer struggling at the bottom is vividly depicted and presented in front of everyone. The story told makes passers-by can't help but be filled with righteous indignation. At the end of the blog post, Lao Hai also attached a few photos of worn-out Curly Hair's handwritten manuscripts. The contents of the manuscripts are the score of the song. Although there are many traces of modification and erasure, the dense notes can still be seen clearly. As a new blogger without any fans, the blog post of the wandering singer Lao Hai was initially ignored, but it was quickly forwarded and tagged by many VIPs and celebrities in the industry. Then, very magically, in just a few hours, the number of transfers reached tens of thousands. It was read by more and more people, and the number of clicks and comments increased exponentially. At 10 p.m., this blog post was on the hot list on the homepage of the Waves blog. 110,000 plus forwards, 350,000 plus comments, and 500,000 plus likes. In the comments, many people expressed support for the blogger, sympathized with his experience, and supported him to fight for his rights. But many people were skeptical of the authenticity of the story, thinking that it was malicious hype. Although this blog post did not name names, it was too directional, so after it was on the hot list, Lu Chen's blog post was blown up. Those bloggers who didn't know the truth accused Lu Chen of plagiarizing Lao Hai, which was simply shameless. Some people asked Lu Chen to apologize to Lao Hai and return the copyright of In the Spring to the other party. Some people also asked Lu Chen to get out of the entertainment industry. If Lu Chen was still an unknown newcomer before he participated in Singing China, then now he is like a rising star, carrying countless praise and glory. TN, Singing in China is a famous singer. TN, Singing in China. In contrast, the wandering singer Lao Hai looks very pitiful, and it is natural for people to sympathize with him. These people who scolded Lu Chen didn't know the truth of the matter, nor did they care about the truth. They were moved by Lao Hai's story and empathized with him. They were extremely disgusted with Lu Chen, so they spontaneously participated in the siege of Lu Chen to vent their emotions. Some people went to Beijing television, Singing China program team, and even Tan Hong and Chen Fei's blogs, requesting for Lu Chen to be banned. And some well-known bloggers also added fuel to the fire. An industry figure with V certification posted a rebuke. This is how the atmosphere of the domestic pop music world has been corrupted. Plagiarism has become the norm, and hype has no lower limit, so that many truly talented people can't stand out. He strongly appealed to Beijing television to take the initiative to ban Lu Chen, and not let plagiarists stand on the stage. It was clearly determined that Lu Chen plagiarized Lao Hai's work. There are many big V and small v in the circle who hold similar views and have posted blog posts. At the same time as the Waves blog set off a black tide of denouncing Lu Chen, this wind also quickly spread to post bars, forums, and even QQ groups. Lu Chen seems to have suddenly become a drowning dog that everyone wants to beat. His crime of plagiarism is already a done deal. But although there are many people who don't know the truth, there are many people with discerning eyes. A newly registered blog, a blog post with no real evidence except for a few photos and sensational text, has unexpectedly set off such a big storm in such a short period of time. To say that there is no one behind the scenes directing the layout, that is a complete insult to IQ. Who doesn't know several marketing big V who are active in it? They are all characters who are willing to give milk to anyone. Just because they see something strange doesn't mean that they will stand up for Lu Chen. Lu Chen has been in the limelight recently. Some time ago, he also offended Shonen TV, which made several people in the circle lose face. Either they gloat, or they share a common hatred for the enemy. Many people have chosen to stand by and watch, and even some have followed with a little push, happy to see Lu Chen stumble. This is the entertainment industry. Lu Chen has no roots and a little fame, and is most suitable to be stepped on. Everyone is waiting to see how he will deal with the black tide that is so aggressive. Chapter 125. South Island, Bihai City. It's already 10 o'clock in the evening, and the southernmost city of the motherland is still full of vitality. In the distance, the sea and sky are lined with boundless blue waves, and nearby, there are campfires on the beach that stretches for several kilometers. Couples walked along the long embankment, strolling hand in hand between the coconut trees. The sea breeze blew gently, and the air was filled with the smell of romance. Bihai, a famous tourist city, is also the last stop of the Singing China national tour. Lu Chen stood in his room on the 26th floor of the Lijing Hotel, overlooking the beach and sea view through the thick floor-to-ceiling windows. He was holding his cell phone and talking to Qin Jinhao on the phone. After the competition in the deep-sea singing area, Lu Chen, together with the other 9 winning singers, flew to Bihai City with the Singing China program team. After getting off the plane, on the way to the hotel by bus, he received a call from his sister, Lu Shi. He knew that he had been attacked again on the Waves blog. But Lu Chen was not surprised at all, because Qin Jinhao had already warned him that Jin Hongwei would not give up. Seeing that the Singing China national tour was coming to an end, the other party couldn't wait to jump out. He changed his way to attack him, and he held a grudge to the bone. Lu Chen has already read the blog post of the so-called wandering singer Lao Hai on his mobile phone. Just a clown. The gunman Jin Hongwei hired was still very good. Even Lu Chen was almost moved by the blog post. But what about the real thing? Can these manuscripts and photos be used as evidence of his plagiarism? It's also bullying the low IQ of some netizens. Of course, the other party's power is still very great, and he has set off such a big storm on the Waves blog. Lu Chen wants to give Jin Hongwei a thumbs up. If it had been an ordinary rookie with no roots and no foundation, it was likely that he would have been slandered, and even if he jumped into the South China Sea, he would not be able to clear his name and would end up with a gloomy ending. But now, Lu Chen was no longer the Lu Chen who had just participated in the talent show. He was no longer alone. He had the power to support him. He was not someone who could be easily bullied. This force did not refer to Lu Chen's studio. At present, the studio was still very weak and could not deal with this situation. What really stands behind him is the Singing China program team, Beijing Television. In last night's deep-sea station competition, the ratings of Singing China broke through 5% and reached 5.17%. A viewership rating of more than 5 points represented a huge hit and a huge amount of advertising benefits. And the beneficiary was none other than Beijing Television. Lu Chen dare not say that the program, Singing China, is popular because of him. That would be too arrogant and ignorant. But his outstanding performance could not go unnoticed. At this time, it would be strange if Beijing Television did not support him. Not all of these things were analyzed by Lu Chen himself. Most of them were said by Qin Jinhao, who had just called. You're not a real star yet, but you've enjoyed the treatment of a real star. Qin Jinhao said with a smile, can I say congratulations? If it was really an ordinary newcomer, who would spend so much effort to slander him? Do they have nothing better to do? Lu Chen said with a wry smile, Brother Kenho, don't joke with me. Someone is going to go to court with me. A straight body is not afraid of a crooked shadow. Qin Jinhao said decisively, just you wait. In Beijing, Jin Hongwei is nothing. Naturally, someone will teach him how to be a man. All you have to do is to defeat your opponent and win the last competition. That's also your best way to fight back. Although Lu Chen is not the kind of young man who is easily hot-blooded and impulsive, he was also stimulated by his sonorous and powerful words of encouragement. He said without hesitation, then Brother Kenho, just you wait and see. "Ha, that's right," Chen Jinhao said with a smile. "When you come back from Bihai, come to Forget Worries Bar and let everyone celebrate for you." Of course, Lu Chen agreed, and then ended the call. As a result, he had just put his cell phone back in his pocket when the phone in the room rang again. On his first night in Bihai, Lu Chen was doomed to be unable to stop. It was Gurue, the music director of Singing China program team, who called him. Gurue asked Lu Chen to go to room 2607. For the Bihai competition on the evening of the 20th, Beijing Television has booked the entire 26th floor of Lijing Hotel early to accommodate the Singing China program team for judges and singing contestants. Lu Chen lives in single room 2029. Due to things at the studio, Li Feiyu has returned to Beijing ahead of time and did not follow him to Bihai City. After hanging up the phone, Lu Chen immediately left his room and rushed to room 2607. As a result, he ran into Zhang Junhua and two other singing contestants. They were obviously going outside the hotel and were stunned when they bumped into Lu Chen. Lu Chen nodded to Zhang Junhua. Zhang Junhua smiled and nodded, and then passed by Lu Chen. Neither of them spoke. Since the last meal at Egret restaurant, the relationship between Zhang Junhua and Lu Chen has been alienated a lot. At most, they just say hello when they meet, and they never go out together again. The only one who hasn't changed is Mu Xiaochu. When he passed by just now, Lu Chen was keenly aware of the look in Zhang Junhua's eyes. That was obviously gloating, and it was estimated that he knew that he had been blacklisted. After all, they are not the same kind of people. Lu Chen came to room 2607 and quickly knocked on the door. Room 2607 is a large suite, which is used as a temporary headquarters by the program team. There are a lot of computer equipment in it, so it looks quite messy, and the smoke is quite choking. Many hotels have special smoking suites, which have the best ventilation conditions. However, there are as many as 7 or 8 smokers in room 2607. They all open fire, even if the exhaust fan is whirring. Xiao Lu is here. When Gurue saw Lu Chen, he waved to him and said, "Come here." Lu Chen greeted politely, "Hello, Director Chen, Director Gu, Assistant Zhang." In addition to Gurue sitting in the rest area, there are 2 other people. They are the Deputy Director of Beijing Television, Chen Qi, who is in charge of leading the team, and Chen Qi's assistant, Xiao Zhang. Chen Qi is over 50 years old, has a square face and big ears, and has a dignified air of a high-ranking person. He nodded and said, "Sit down." Lu Chen sat down opposite Chen Qi. The deputy director grabbed a cigarette on the coffee table and asked, "Xiao Lu, do you smoke?" Lu Chen quickly declined, "Thank you, Director Chen, but I don't smoke." "It's right not to smoke." A smile appeared on Chen Qi's face, and he said, "Young people should know how to take care of their bodies. As a singer, don't smoke and drink less to protect your voice." He took out a cigarette and held it between his fingers, but refused the lighter offered by his assistant, Xiao Zhang. Playing with the cigarette, Chen Qi said in a deep voice, "Now we know what happened on the internet. Someone deliberately spread rumors to discredit you. This is not only aimed at you, but also a provocation to our Beijing television. I asked old Gu to call you here to tell you that you don't have any mental burden. This matter will be handled by our TV station, and we will definitely give you justice." Although he had expected it, Lu Chen was still a little excited when he heard Chen Qi's promise. Many times, it was really good to have a big tree to enjoy the shade. He said gratefully, "Thank you, Director Chen." "It's not just about me," Chen Qi waved his hand and said, "but before that, I have a very important question to ask you. You have to answer it truthfully, otherwise our TV station may not be able to help you." Lu Chen was moved and asked, "Director Chen, do you want to ask about the song copyright?" Chen Qi smiled and said, "Yes. This young man is very smart and promising." Lu Chen said without hesitation, "That's no problem. All my original works have been registered for copyright in the Greater China Music Library." Not only that, he looked at Chen Qi's assistant and said, "Assistant Zhang, can you lend me your computer?" Of course, Assistant Zhang would not refuse and lent his laptop to Lu Chen. Lu Chen thanked him, opened the browser skillfully, and typed in the website of the Greater China Music Library. He logged into his account and selected all the works that have been sold or performed in public, such as In the Spring, You Who Sat Next to Me, Fly Higher, Love in the Wind, and so on. Lu Chen said, "There is no problem with copyright, and I have also registered foreign copyrights in the Universal Music Library in the United States." After waking up from the dream, Lu Chen relied on memory to write 2 original works, You Who Sat Next to Me, and Cinderella. He went to the Greater China Music Library to inquire and register the copyright at the first time, even if it took out all his savings. Later, when Lu Chen made more money, he took his works to the Universal Music Library and registered them again. The nature of the Universal Music Library and the Greater China Music Library is exactly the same, except that the latter is an authoritative website for musicians or music institutions in Europe, the United States, Japan, and South Korea to register the copyright. Because the two are not interconnected, if you want to ensure the global copyright of your works, you must register them once, and the cost can be said to be quite high. Many domestic musicians do not pay much attention to this area, or are reluctant to pay US dollars, but Lu Chen is not included. It is precisely because of this precaution that he is not afraid of being discredited on the blog. Chen Qi and Gurue looked at each other, and the former smiled and said, "Xiao Lu is really. Then there is no problem." They are not afraid to wrestle with others, but they are afraid that Lu Chen will drop the chain. But Lu Chen is more shrewd and experienced than the two thought. Not only from within the country, but also from abroad. Gurue said, "Xiao Lu, download a copy of the copyright certificate of these works, and save it in Xiao Zhang's computer." Lu Chen said, "Okay, Director Gu, I still have something to discuss with you." "What is it?" "Say it." Gurue smiled warmly and said, "As long as it does not violate the rules, everything is fine." Lu Chen smiled and said, "I want to change the entry for the night after tomorrow." "I don't know if this is a violation of the rules." Didn't Qin Jinhao say that using his own performance to defeat the opponent is the best way to fight back? Then he will do it for real. Chapter 126. The last time Lu Chen was attacked, Beijing television did not say anything. But if one thinks that Beijing's satellite TV does not attach importance to Lu Chen, or has always held an indifferent attitude towards his experience, it would be really a big mistake, especially when it violates their interests. Tien, if a tiger does not show its might, it is easy to be regarded as a sick cat. Beijing television is a flood serpent entrenched in the capital. Once it is angry, it has the power to topple mountains and overturn seas. On the night that the Singing China program team arrived in Bihai, at 11:15, Beijing television official V posted a stern notice on the Waves blog. In this long blog post, Beijing television said that it had noticed the wave of public opinion against Singing China contestant Lu Chen on the internet, and launched a serious investigation. After a careful investigation by the Singing China program team, it was confirmed that contestant Lu Chen owns all the copyrights of his songs, including but not limited to the copyrights that have been transferred. The copyright registration websites are Greater China Music Library, in China, and Universal Music Library, in the United States, both of which are the most authoritative music copyright organizations. Beijing television therefore determined that Lu Chen did not plagiarize in his creation, and that the blog post of wandering singer Lao Hai and I in the Spring, in the Waves blog has serious problems of confusing the facts, misleading netizens, and fabricating and discrediting. In order to defend the honor and reputation of Singing China contestants, Beijing television, together with Lu Chen himself, reported to Waves blog, requesting Waves blog to conduct an open and fair investigation. At the end of the notice, the copyright documents of 10 songs, including Chinese and English, were attached. This is called reasonable and well-founded, with pictures and the truth. As soon as the announcement statement of Beijing television official V came out, it immediately received a large number of reposts and comments. There was an uproar in the Waves blog, because everyone did not expect that Beijing television would support Lu Chen so strongly. In fact, those who knew about variety shows would know that Beijing television's support of Lu Chen was not to defend his reputation, but to defend their own interests, like a dragon's reverse scale. At 11:35 a.m., Wave's blog posted a pop-up notice on its homepage. The content of the announcement wasn't long. The Wave's blog official stated that after an investigation, the blog post of the blogger, wandering singer Lao Hai, titled The Story of Me and in the Spring, was reported by the official account of Beijing television. It was found that there was indeed a violation of the rules, so it was removed. In addition, through technical investigation, the source of wandering singer Lao Hai SIP was Shanghai, and it was exactly the same as the famous blogger Riceball SIP. Riceball's account was also temporarily closed. If the previous announcement by Beijing television official V was the horn of counterattack, then the official announcement by Wave's blog was the direct capture of the flag. In an instant, the head of the culprit was chopped off. Even the skin was peeled off cleanly. Riceball was a big V with 7.5 million followers on Waves. He was also a famous marketing account. Wandering singer Lao Hai was actually his smuff. Many people felt that they had been fooled. Didn't he say that he was a wandering singer who had drifted in Beijing for more than 20 years? How did he suddenly become a famous Big V? This was simply a scam. The Big V who originally forwarded the blog post, The Story of Me and in the Spring, deleted their own blog posts, cancelled their likes, and pretended as if nothing had happened. Some who reacted slowly or went offline, ended up with the comments section exploding. Do you still have any shame? As for Riceball's blog, it was even more heavily scolded by thousands of Lu Chen fans and passers-by. Because Riceball's account had been banned, he couldn't even close the comments section or delete the blog post even if he wanted to. He could only watch as he was ruthlessly beaten up. This Big V account was basically useless. In contrast, Lu Chen's blog returned to normal. Many passers-by who had scolded him because of the misunderstanding came back to apologize to him, and liked and added followers. The atmosphere in the comments section was warm and peaceful. The black tide that was originally aimed at Lu Chen disappeared in the blink of an eye. The trend on the internet was like this. It often came and went quickly. Unless someone added fuel to the fire, the duration was very short. Not to mention that it was directly beaten to death with a stick. At 11:47, Tan Hong, who had more than 20 million followers, spoke in his blog. He expressed his support to Lu Chen through the blog post, hoping that the latter would not be affected by this plagiarism incident in the Beihai competition the night after tomorrow. Otherwise, it would really be a pity. Tan Hong also deeply sighed at the kindness of many netizens. These netizens were too easily misled and moved by a fabricated story. As a result, they wrongly accused a very talented young man. In fact, the biggest loophole in The Story of Me and in the Spring was that after the so-called Beijing drifting singer created his work, he didn't register the copyright, but he didn't even do an online filing, which was completely contrary to common sense. Even if it was the first draft, as long as it was uploaded to a big website such as QQ Music for filing, it didn't cost much money to prove the originality of his work, and it was also legally valid. Few singers didn't know this most basic common sense of copyright. The authenticity of this story could be imagined, but ordinary netizens didn't understand it, which led to the spread of the plagiarism storm. Tan Hong sincerely hoped that similar incidents would not happen again, and that it would not damage the original works in China. On the surface, Tan Hong's blog post was posted a little late, and the content was a bit suspicious of hindsight. But in fact, while he lamented the kindness of netizens who didn't know the truth, he was also slapping those in the industry who forwarded the original blog post in the face. They don't understand, and you don't understand either. It was nothing more than an ulterior motive. None of these people dared to jump out and refute. Even if their teeth were slapped off, they could only swallow it. Tan Hong has a lot of fans, and because of his love for me, Lu Chen's popularity in the Waves blog soared again, and a few hours later, he was on the celebrity list on the home page. Later, Chen Fei, Lin Jijia and Zhenjin all posted blog posts to support Lu Chen. The next day, the headline of the third page of an entertainment newspaper was, "Singing China, for judges support the newcomer." And that morning, Lu Chen also posted a blog post. At this time, the storm has basically subsided. Because of the support of Beijing television, Tan Hong and other big names in the circle, the criticism of Lu Chen has disappeared, whether it is in blogs, postbars, or forums. In his blog post, he first thanked Beijing television, as well as the 4 judges, including Tan Hong and Chen Fei. Then, Lu Chen said that after 2 disturbances against him in the Waves blog, he understood more about the dangers of people and the complexity of things in the world, so he was extremely grateful to his fans who have always trusted and supported him. He wanted to tell all his fans that although he was slandered, misunderstood, humiliated and cursed, but he still has the dream of pursuing music, a pure and unchanging heart. Tomorrow evening, in the last game of Singing China national competition, Lu Chen will dedicate a brand new work to all his supporters. Please look forward to it. Thank you. Finally, he also Beijing television, Singing China program team, Tan Hong, Chen Fei, Lin Jijia, Zhen Zhen, and Lu Chen's support group, that is, Lu Jiajun's Group V. Lu Chen's long blog post, entitled "Thank You," was quickly forwarded by a large number of people as soon as it was posted. Beijing television and other big and small V, who were at, have all given replies of encouragement or support. In just a few hours, the number of reposts and comments on the blog post has exceeded 100,000 plus. And what Lu Chen's fans talked about the most was his new work, just waiting for the answer to be revealed. On the evening of August 20th, Singing China, Bihai Singing Area Competition, which was also the last national tour, was broadcast live to hundreds of millions of viewers nationwide on time in the indoor stadium of Bihai Stadium. The indoor stadium of Bihai Stadium can accommodate 5,000 spectators. After temporary renovation, it has become a huge performance stage. All 5,000 seats were full, all 24 cameras were in place, and all the staff of the program team were on duty. When the timer jumped to 7:30, the theme song of "Life on a String" suddenly sounded in the stadium. The host on the scene stepped on the stage, first read a short advertisement at a fierce speed, and then invited the judges to the stage. Tan Hong, Chen Fei, Lin Jijia, Zhen Zhen, 4 judges, who are already very familiar to the audience all over the country, appeared one by one. Each of their appearances aroused warm applause and cheers from the audience at the scene, especially the 2 heavenly kings and heavenly queens, who were crazily pursued. Next, it was time for the exciting PK draw. The 10 singers of the tour team versus the 10 top contestants of the Bihai singing area. Their fate was in the hands of the small control button in the hands of the 4 judges. Tan Hong was the first to press the button and draw the first pair of contestants of the evening. The big screen immediately showed the photos of 20 contestants, divided into left and right, up and down. Until Tan Hong pressed the button again. Stop. The first pair of contestants was produced in an instant, from Zhang Junhua of the tour team to Lin Meiru of the top 10 in Bihai. The 2 appeared separately and sang their best songs, and then the judges and the audience inside and outside the venue scored. The higher scorers won the top 10 in the country. The loser was naturally eliminated. There was no resurrection session in the competition, so it was extremely cruel. Such a rule is undoubtedly not completely fair, because the 2 strongest singers may bump into each other, and then one of them is bound to be kicked out, either in the top 10 of the singing area or in the team. But this just enhances the excitement and appreciation of the competition, and increases the theme of the program. Along the way, many contestants who were eliminated were very pitiful. It's not that they are not strong, but unfortunately, they encountered a stronger opponent and had no luck to continue. And Lu Chen is undoubtedly the most powerful opponent. Chapter 127. Toot the spout of the electric kettle spewed out a long stream of steam, and a low and melodious chirp echoed in the small dwelling. Click. The next moment, under the action of the automatic thermostat, the switch on the base jumped up and the power was cut off in an instant. Chen Xiang skillfully picked up the kettle and poured the freshly boiled water into the prepared bucket of noodles. A bucket of Master Gao braised beef noodles, half a bag of sour and spicy pickled vegetables, and a spicy braised egg. It was already 9 p.m., and this was his dinner. There was no other way. All the employees in the company were working overtime today. It was lucky to be able to get back to the rental house before 9 p.m. Sometimes, when they worked overtime until 11 p.m. or even later, Chen Xiang slept directly in the office. Chen Xiang didn't want to complain about anything, because for a graduate of a third-rate university, this low-level coding job was the best job he could find in more than a year. At least he could support himself on his salary and survive in this big city with a population of 30 million. Without waiting for the noodles to be cooked, Chen Xiang brought them directly to the computer. Tonight is the last game of the Singing China tour competition, which will decide the top 10 singers in the country. He wants to cheer for Lu Chen with thousands of Lu Jiejun members. Chen Xiang first met Lu Chen a few months ago. At that time, he was wandering in Whale TV, and inadvertently clicked on the newcomer recommendation on the home page. As a result, he entered Lu Fei Live broadcasting room, and met the talented newcomer anchor who could play and sing. He liked listening to Lu Chen's playing and singing. He liked the anchor's optimism and humor, and liked the other party's original folk songs even more. And the real reason why Chen Xiang became a die-hard fan was that Lu Chen, like him, was also a Beijing drifter, also a drifting ant family. Chen Xiang watched Lu Chen become famous in Whale TV. He watched Lu Chen walk out of the anchor circle, go all the way to a broader world, and stand on a star-studded stage. In Lu Chen, he saw the dream that he had been working hard to pursue. In the evening's game, Chen Xiang paid extra attention to it. He was a little absent-minded when he worked overtime. Fortunately, Lu Chen has not played since the program started live at 7:30. Otherwise, he could only play back the recorded video and would not be able to cheer for Lu Chen with the hundreds of thousands of fans. On the computer screen, the fifth pair had just left the stage. Mu Xiaochu, the singer of the tour team, with a sweet song, Small Town Nocturne, narrowly defeated Gao Zhanpeng, the challenger of the Bihai singing area, with a total score of 91.68 points and won the fifth place in the national top 10. Compared to her opponent, her advantage was only 0.12 points. Chen Xiang came back late, so he only saw a little bit of the PK between the two sides. But this did not stop him from applauding and cheering for Mu Xiaochu, filling the live broadcast room with celebratory bullet screens. Mu Xiaochu, like Lu Chen, is from Beijing's singing area. All the way through the difficulties, this delicate girl, who is like a girl next door, has shown everyone a tenacious will, tenacious courage and commendable strength. And she and Lu Chen have a very good relationship. They are like brother and sister, and have appeared several times in the live video. As the saying goes, love a house and its crow, Lu Chen's fans have also liked Mu Xiaochu. Everyone affectionately calls her Little Sister Xiaochu. Now that Mu Xiaochu has defeated his opponent again, the live broadcast room was full of jubilation, and the bullet screens flooded the screen like a tide. Chen Xiang hit the enter key with a smile and sent the loaded content out. Congratulations to Little Sister Xiaochu for winning the national top 10. But that's not the real point. The contestants left the stage, and the host came on again, reading the 10-second advertising message in super speed. He asked Chen Feier to draw the sixth pair of contestants. Lu Fei's live broadcast room instantly quieted down, and everyone was waiting nervously and looking forward to it anxiously. The competition is already halfway through, and the tour team and the Bihai singing area each have 5 contestants on the stage. There are only the last 10 contestants left. Will Lu Chen be selected? The TV camera's lens was pointed at Chen Feier, who calmly pressed the draw button. The big LED screen immediately began to scroll the photos at a fast speed. Stop. As Chen Feier pressed it for the second time, the picture was instantly fixed. Lu Chen versus Shi Jia. Lu Chen, this time, it's finally his turn to appear. Yes. Chen Xiang excitedly clapped the mouse and almost knocked over the instant noodles that were being cooked on the table. But how could he care about eating noodles now? Lu Fei's live broadcast room was boiling in an instant, and the number of bullet screens sent was simply terrifying, densely packed. People who don't know the truth think that Lu Chen has defeated his opponent. Although in the eyes of hundreds of thousands of fans, there is no doubt that Lu Chen will win this competition. Didn't someone discredit Lu Chen on Wave's blog the day before yesterday? It was noisy, and as a result, he was slapped in the face by Beijing television. The 4 judges all spoke out in support of him. If he doesn't win, who else can win? However, there are also a few rational voices. Shi Jia is the top 10 chief of the Bihai singing area. Her singing is still very good. Well, Lu Feida can't be careless. Shi Jia seems to be a graduate of Chuanin. She is really powerful. I reckon that she has a good fight with the anchor. I've seen her 2 games, and she does have a good level. This is the 3rd time that the anchor has faced the chief of the singing area, isn't it? There must be something fishy, otherwise how could it be so coincidental? I don't know what song General Lu will sing this time. Of course, these worried and even questioning voices are very weak, and they were quickly drowned out by the flood of bullet screens. Everyone's attention was focused on the live broadcast. They saw Lu Chen and Shi Jia on the stage at the same time. Shi Jia is 23 years old, a native of South Island. She is tall and has fair skin, but her appearance is not very good. The top 10 chief of the Bihai singing area is gender neutral, with short hair and earrings. The combination of t-shirt, jeans and casual shoes makes her look fresh and neat. When she smiles, there is a small dimple on her left cheek. Hello. The 2 walked onto the stage from different directions and met face to face in the middle. Shi Jia took the initiative to extend her hand to Lu Chen. I like your songs very much. It's my honor to compete with you on the same stage. The girl is so generous. Of course, Lu Chen will not perform badly. He shook the other party's hand and said with a smile, it's also my honor. The dialogue between the 2 was clearly transmitted to the ears of the 5,000 spectators through the microphone. There was immediately a tsunami of applause and cheers in the stadium. Shi Jia! Shi Jia! Shi Jia! Many spectators shouted Shi Jia's name and raised the fluorescent cards in their hands to cheer for her. This is the home advantage. Shi Jia is the top 10 chief of the Bihai singing area and a native of South Island. After the accumulation of many previous competitions, she already has a high popularity, and naturally has the strong support of the live audience. Of course, the 5,000 spectators are not all from Bihai. There are many people who support Lu Chen, but their momentum is a little worse than Shi Jia. It is estimated that after the competition, the number of votes in the field will be at a disadvantage. The arrangement of the Singing China tour competition makes the team usually have an off-field advantage, but in the face of the local singing area contestants, it is difficult to gain the upper hand on the field, and the 2 sides form a relatively balanced situation. Who wins and who loses depends on the overall score. According to the rules of the competition, the home contestant sings first, so Lu Chen temporarily retreated to the waiting area beside the stage. Shi Jia changed to an electric guitar. She handsomely held the guitar in her arms and said to the microphone, "Tonight, the song I brought to you is my own work. Its name is No Man's Island. I hope you like it." Wow! The whole audience was in an uproar. Unexpectedly, Shi Jia came up with an original work in this extremely important competition. People who are familiar with Shi Jia know that from the audition of the Bihai singing area, to the qualifying competition, the semi-finals, and the promotion competition, and finally to the top 10 chief of the singing area, she has covered other people's songs. Shi Jia's voice is very special, with a metallic texture and slightly tearing magnetic characteristics, coupled with her first-class singing skills and excellent typhoon, so she has won the love of countless audiences and made it all the way to the present. In the blog, post bar and forum of Singing China, Shi Jia's fans are guessing which song she will choose to sing in the evening. There are all kinds of opinions, but no one said that she will sing her own work. Moreover, she is up against Lu Chen, who has swept his opponents with original works, the strongest singer in the tour team. Isn't this using one's own weakness to deal with the enemy's strength? Of course, many audiences don't know that whether it is the singing team or the singing area contestants, the songs for the competition are prepared in advance, and it is impossible to suddenly change when it comes to the competition. because the tour competition is all accompanied by a live band. Shi Jia herself didn't expect that she would face Lu Chen, but since she dared to take out her first original work and use it in this crucial competition, she must have enough confidence. Shi Jia believes in her own strength, and her confidence is also written on her face. She held her head high and smiled until the band behind her played the prelude. The steel strings were sonorous, with an unusual rhythm and a cheerful and enthusiastic melody, which instantly presented the unique style of the summer island to the 4 judges and 5,000 spectators present. Shi Jia's unique female voice immediately joined in the auditory feast. Lu Chen, who was standing in the waiting area, suddenly straightened his back, with a look of surprise in his eyes. Even after listening to only a short section of the first section, he was keenly aware that Shi Jia's original work was extraordinary. Not only was it excellent and stylish, but it was also the fast song that the audience liked. The top 10 chief of the Bihai singing area is definitely not an opponent that can be easily defeated. But it was precisely her wonderful performance that thoroughly aroused Lu Chen's fighting spirit. Only by winning such an opponent can his victory be beyond doubt. Chapter 128. At the end of the song, the applause was like a tide. Shi Jia's original work, No Man's Island, is undoubtedly the biggest highlight since the beginning of tonight's competition in the Bihai singing area. The top 10 chief, facing a strong enemy, showed her trump card and immediately won the house. Unique voiceover, powerful singing, catchy lyrics, coupled with a bright and warm melody, with the passionate accompaniment of the live band, the new song seemed to be like a heavy rain suddenly falling on an island on a summer night, conquering the 5,000 audience with lightning speed. Many of the audience stood up and applauded Shi Jia, thanking her for dedicating a good song to everyone. Shi Jia's fans held up fluorescent signs high and shouted her name. The atmosphere at the scene reached a new climax. In the face of the cheers of thousands of spectators, Shi Jia's chest rose and fell violently a few times. Her white, jade-like face was flushed with excitement, and the corners of her eyes were sparkling. She held her electric guitar and bowed deeply to the audience who supported her. Then she turned around and thanked the live band. When she straightened up again, there were 2 more lines of tears on her face, but she was still smiling with joy. Among the 4 judges, Chen Feier stood up and applauded her. After sitting down, the Queen of Sweet Songs smiled and asked, "You sang so well, Shi Jia. I remember you were covering other people's songs in the previous competition. Why did you come up with this original work tonight?" Shi Jia wiped away her tears and said with a little embarrassment, "Because I wrote this song for a long time, and I haven't had the right opportunity to sing it to others, but tonight is different." After a slight pause, she continued, "Tonight is the competition in the Bihai singing area. I want to use this song to express my love for my hometown and thank all my fans and audience for their support. Thank you, everyone." The applause that had just stopped rang out again. Chen Feier encouragingly said, "Well said, I'll give you 10 points." She pressed the scoreboard and added 10 points to Shi Jia. In the warm applause, Shi Jia bowed again, "Thank you, Teacher Chen." Following that, Tan Hong, Lin Jijia, and Zhen Zhen gave it 9, 9, and 10 respectively. With all 4 of them added up, Shi Jia's total score was 38 points, which was also the highest score since the start of the competition. The audience applauded thunderously. This uninhabited island was a typical fast song, very much in line with the tastes of young people nowadays. Its lyrics and melody are unique. If it is packaged and promoted, there is no problem for it to be on the original music list. Maybe it has a chance to rush to the top 10. However, it couldn't be said to be outstanding or classic, because the song lacks sufficient connotation. It was only because of Shi Jia's near-perfect performance that it received such a high score from the judges. Originality is certainly a plus, but singing strength is also indispensable. After all, singing China is not super singer, so Shi Jia's performance is still the key to scoring. She got such a high score from the judges, which imperceptibly brought a lot of pressure to Lu Chen, who appeared later. Especially when Shi Jia relied on original works. In the tourney competition, the scoring standard of the 4 judges was much higher, and it was not easy to give a full score. Even for Lu Chen, the total score of the judges in the first 2 matches was only 36 and 37, but it was higher than his opponent. Now that Shi Jia got 38 points, and she has the home advantage, the threat to Lu Chen is naturally great. This threat and pressure were reflected in Whale TV's live broadcast room, and Lu Chen's fans could not calm down. Shi Jia is really good. Although I'm a fan of the anchor, I have to say that this song is good. It's very good. Chen Fei gave it 10 points. What do you say? What? I really admire you people. It's not like Lu Feida has never met a powerful opponent. There is no in case, General Lu will win. If the anchor loses, I will eat a keyboard live. Chocolate keyboard? Bah bah bah, don't jinx it. I believe in Lu Feida. Big will win. Support the anchor. Amidst the discussion, the #1 fan in Lu Fei's live broadcast room, Li Bai, suddenly smashed out 5 aircraft carriers in a row. After shocking the audience with his big move, he said coolly, General Lu will win. There's no need to doubt it. After winning this competition, everyone come to the group to grab red envelopes. There was a tide of flattery in the live broadcast room. It's different when a local tyrant makes a move, instantly suppressing all the noise. At the scene, after the 4 judges showed their scores, Shi Jia temporarily went down, and Lu Chen went on the stage. The rules of the tourney competition are different from those of the singing area promotion competition. In addition to the judges' scores, the votes of the audience inside and outside the venue should be announced at the same time. Of course, the time for counting the votes is exactly the same for the 2 contestants. Lu Chen took his guitar and walked onto the stage again. Hello, for judges, the audience at the scene and in front of the TV, hello everyone. I am Lu Chen. After that, he bowed. The audience at the scene still gave face, and the applause was quite warm, but it was incomparable to the previous one. However, there were 2 female fans sitting in the front seat, desperately shaking the fluorescent cards in their hands. The 2 words, Lu Chen, above were very eye-catching. Hello, Tan Hong nodded. He smiled and asked, Lu Chen, everyone is looking forward to your performance tonight. Shi Jia scored 38 points before. Do you feel any pressure? Since Tan Hong appeared in Singing China, he has become a well-deserved chief judge with his rigorous style and professional judgment. Some people on the internet say that he is too strict with singers, but no one says that he is unfair. He doesn't like to interact with the contestants very much, but more to give advice and discuss in music. Such a family-like inquiry has hardly appeared before. It's really Lu Chen. Lu Chen calmly replied, there must be pressure. Shi Jia's performance is too good. Her work is really great. If I have a choice, I hope I won't compete with her. Well, let's be good friends. There were bursts of laughter and applause in the venue. Lu Chen's answer was undoubtedly very modest, and there was no lack of humor, which made people feel good. The camera lens of the live broadcast instantly switched to Shi Jia, who was standing in the waiting area. Lu Chen's words made her chuckle. When she saw the camera sweeping over, she raised her hand and made a gesture of victory. Chen Fei said with a smile, if you really become good friends, for the sake of friendship, are you willing to give her the place to be promoted to the top 10 in the country? The queen of sweet songs blinked, her eyes flashing with a sly light. This question, Lu Chen was a little speechless. When did Singing China become a witty response program? But he reacted quickly. After a little thought, he said, I think true friendship is based on mutual respect and mutual understanding. Friendship has nothing to do with interests, identity and status. So, I don't think contestant Shi Jia will accept the place I give her. She wants to win confidently. As soon as Lu Chen's voice fell, the whole audience applauded again, more enthusiastic and sincere than before. For his wonderful answer. Shi Jia bit her lip, her eyes were bright. Chen Fei said with a smile, well said, then let's start your performance. I'm looking forward to it. Not only was she looking forward to it, but also the audience sitting in front of the TV and computers, and the hundreds of thousands of fans in the live broadcast room, were looking forward to Lu Chen's performance tonight. What kind of work will he use to meet the challenge of a strong opponent? Standing in front of the microphone with his guitar in his arms, Lu Chen was very calm. After so many confrontations, he has been really honed, and he will not have stage fright in the face of a big stage. But at this moment, his heart was not calm. In just a blink of an eye, Lu Chen thought a lot, and many past events flashed in his mind. He thought of the dark years he had experienced, the depression after his father's death, the hardships brought about by the great changes in life, and the pain and heartbreak after his girlfriend broke up. He thought of the days when he was a drifter in Beijing, working hard to earn more money, and living like a walking corpse. He thought of being banned at the Starlight show, and being suppressed because he refused to sign a contract. He did not forget that he was smeared on the internet twice, and even slandered. Although Lu Chen had overcome all the difficulties and obstacles along the way, although all the troubles had been solved, he had not yet spoken his heart, and had not launched his own counterattack. The anger had long been in his heart, waiting to explode. And here was the best stage. Lu Chen straightened his chest, and his eyes lit up with a little flame. He held the guitar in his arms tightly, then turned to the live band and gave a thumbs up. It's time to start. Let the whole world listen to my voice. The name of this song is Chasing Dreams with a Pure Heart. Where is the world full of flowers? If it really exists, then I will definitely go. I want to stand on the highest mountain there. I don't care if it is a cliff or not. Live hard, love hard, even if I have to sacrifice my life. Don't ask for anyone's satisfaction. As long as I am worthy of myself, I have never chosen to give up on my ideals, even in the dusty days. Maybe I don't have talent, but I have the innocence of dreams. I will prove it with my whole life. Maybe my hands are clumsier than my feet, but I am willing to keep exploring, give up all my youth without regrets. Run forward, facing the cold eyes and ridicule. How can you feel the vastness of life without going through hardships? Fate can't make us kneel and beg for mercy, even if our arms are full of blood. Keep running, with the pride of a pure heart. How can you see the brilliance of life if you don't persist to the end, instead of struggling at death's door? It is better to burn to your heart's content. One day it will sprout again. Note, Chasing Dreams with a Pure Heart, lyrics/song. Su Duo, you're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.